Marcus sat in his car outside the unemployment office, staring at the termination letter that ended his 20-year career with a single paragraph. At 52, with a mortgage, college tuition bills, and no clear path forward, he felt like his world had collapsed. This was his rock-bottom moment. The kind of devastating setback that either breaks people or reveals their hidden strength. 18 months later, Marcus was running his own consulting firm, earning more than he ever had as an employee, and helping other companies navigate the same technological disruptions that had cost him his job. The difference wasn't luck or special connections. The difference was resilience, the ability to not just bounce back from setbacks, but to bounce forward into something better. Life has a way of testing every single one of us. Economic downturns strip away job security. Relationships that seemed solid crumble overnight. Health challenges force us to confront our mortality. Global crises like pandemics reshape entire societies. Natural disasters wipe out years of progress in minutes. Yet some people seem to emerge from these crucibles stronger, wiser, and more capable than before, while others never fully recover. What separates those who thrive through adversity from those who merely survive, or worse, those who are broken by it? The answer lies in a set of learnable skills, attitudes, and practices that we call resilience. Resilience isn't about being tough or emotionless. It's not about denying problems or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. True resilience is about developing the mental, emotional, and practical tools to navigate life's inevitable storms while maintaining your sense of purpose, hope, and forward momentum. It's about becoming anti-fragile, a term coined by Nassim Taleb to describe systems that don't just withstand stress, but actually grow stronger because of it. This book isn't another collection of feel-good platitudes or simplistic positive thinking. It's a practical guide based on decades of research in psychology, neuroscience, and human performance, combined with real-world stories of people who have transformed their greatest challenges into their greatest opportunities. Every strategy, tool, and technique in these pages has been tested in the crucible of human experience. You picked up this book because something in your life feels challenging right now. Maybe you're facing a major transition, dealing with loss, struggling with uncertainty, or simply wanting to build your capacity to handle whatever comes next. Perhaps you've watched resilient people navigate difficulties with grace and wondered how they do it. Or maybe you've realized that in our rapidly changing world, adaptability isn't just an advantage. It's essential for survival and success. Whatever brought you here, you've already taken the most important step, recognizing that resilience is a skill that can be developed. You weren't born with a fixed amount of resilience that you're stuck with forever. Like physical fitness, emotional resilience can be strengthened through practice, challenged through adversity, and maintained through consistent effort. The journey ahead requires courage. The courage to examine your current approaches honestly, to try new strategies even when they feel uncomfortable, and to persist when progress seems slow. It requires compassion for yourself as you learn and grow, and for others who are fighting battles you may not see. And it requires commitment, the willingness to practice these principles not just when life is easy, but especially when it's hard. But here's what I promise you. If you commit to the principles and practices in this book, you will not be the same person who finishes it that you were when you started. You'll develop a different relationship with difficulty. You'll see opportunities where others see only obstacles. You'll build a foundation of inner strength that no external circumstance can shake. You'll discover that your potential is far greater than you ever imagined. The phoenix is a mythical bird that burns itself to ashes, only to rise again more beautiful and powerful than before. Within you lies a phoenix, the capacity to transform your greatest challenges into your greatest strengths, your deepest pain into your most profound wisdom, and your darkest moments into the foundation for your brightest future. Your resilient future awaits. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Reframe your mindset, the foundation of resilience. When Dr. James Ryo O'Connor was diagnosed with mesothelioma in 2001, doctors gave him 1 year to live. This rare cancer, typically caused by asbestos exposure, had no cure and no effective treatment. Most people would have accepted this death sentence and made peace with their fate. Instead, O'Connor made a different choice. He decided to reframe his diagnosis from a death sentence into a research project. For the next 7.5 years, more than 7 times longer than his prognosis, O'Connor became a mesothelioma expert. He studied every research paper, connected with leading scientists, experimented with alternative treatments, and maintained detailed records of his journey. He didn't just survive, he thrived, traveling the world, writing, and inspiring others facing similar challenges. When he finally passed away in 2009, he had transformed not just his own experience, but had contributed valuable insights to mesothelioma research that continue to help patients today. O'Connor's story illustrates the most fundamental principle of resilience, the extraordinary power of mindset to transform our experience of reality. The circumstances of his diagnosis hadn't changed. He still had a terminal illness. But by reframing his situation from victim of a fatal disease to researcher of a complex puzzle, he created an entirely different life experience. This isn't about positive thinking or denial. It's about understanding that between any stimulus and your response lies a space, and in that space lies your power to choose. Your mindset is the lens through which you interpret everything that happens to you, and that interpretation largely determines your emotional state, your decisions, and ultimately your outcomes. The neuroscience of mindset. Recent advances in neuroscience have revealed just how powerful mindset can be. Your brain doesn't simply record reality. It actively constructs your experience based on your beliefs, expectations, and mental frameworks. This process, called predictive processing, means that your brain is constantly making predictions about what's going to happen based on past experiences and current beliefs, then filtering incoming information to match those predictions. This is why 2 people can experience the exact same event and have completely different emotional responses. Their brains are literally creating different realities based on their mindsets. The pessimist's brain actively looks for evidence of threat and failure, while the resilient person's brain searches for opportunity and solutions. Even more remarkably, your mindset doesn't just affect how you feel about situations, it can actually change the physical outcomes. Studies have shown that people who view stress as helpful rather than harmful have lower levels of cortisol and perform better under pressure. Hotel housekeepers who were told their work was excellent exercise lost more weight and showed better health markers than those who weren't given this reframe, despite doing identical work. Medical students who believed they were receiving caffeine performed better on tests than those who believed they received a placebo, regardless of what they actually consumed. Your mindset is quite literally rewiring your brain with every thought. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and form new neural connections throughout life. Every time you choose a resilient thought pattern over a destructive one, you're strengthening neural pathways that make resilient thinking more automatic in the future. The fixed versus growth mindset revolution. Stanford psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on mindset has revolutionized our understanding of human potential. Her studies reveal that people generally operate from one of 2 mindsets. Fixed mindset, the belief that your qualities, intelligence, and abilities are static traits that cannot be significantly developed. People with fixed mindsets see challenges as threats to their identity, failure as evidence of inadequacy, and effort as a sign of low ability. Growth mindset, the belief that your qualities can be developed through dedication, hard work, and learning for failure. People with growth mindsets see challenges as opportunities to improve, failure as information for learning, and effort as the path to mastery. This distinction isn't just academic. It has profound real-world implications. Students with growth mindsets consistently outperform those with fixed mindsets, even when starting with lower initial ability. Athletes with growth mindsets show greater improvement and resilience after setbacks. Business leaders with growth mindsets create more innovative and adaptive organizations. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, widely considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. A fixed mindset interpretation would be, "I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes." Jordan's growth mindset interpretation was, I need to work harder and improve my skills. He used that rejection as fuel for improvement, practicing obsessively and eventually becoming a legend. The beauty of mindset research is that mindset itself isn't fixed. You can develop a growth mindset through awareness and practice, fundamentally changing how you approach challenges throughout your life. The anatomy of resilient thinking. Resilient people don't think differently because they're naturally more optimistic or have easier lives. They've developed specific thinking patterns that serve them better during difficult times. Understanding these patterns allows you to cultivate them deliberately. Realistic optimism. Resilient thinkers aren't blindly positive. They practice realistic optimism, accurately assessing challenges while maintaining confidence in their ability to handle them. They don't minimize problems, but they don't catastrophize them either. They ask questions like, what's the worst that could reasonably happen? What's the best that could happen? What's most likely to happen? How can I prepare for and influence these outcomes? Internal locus of control. While they can't control everything that happens to them, resilient people focus intensely on what they can control: their responses, their preparation, their effort, and their choices. They waste no energy lamenting circumstances beyond their influence. This doesn't mean they ignore external factors. They just don't let those factors determine their sense of agency. Temporal flexibility. Resilient thinkers understand that problems are temporary and that time provides both healing and perspective. They can zoom out to see how current challenges fit into their larger life story. They ask, how will this matter in 5 years? What can I learn from this that will serve me later? How is this experience preparing me for something bigger? Meaning-making orientation. Perhaps most importantly, resilient people are skilled at finding meaning in their experiences, especially difficult ones. They don't just ask, why is this happening to me? But what is this teaching me? How can this experience serve others? What strengths is this revealing or developing in me? The reframing process, a step-by-step guide. Reframing isn't about forcing yourself to feel positive about negative situations. It's about finding more empowering and accurate ways to interpret your experiences. Here's a systematic approach. Step 1. Separate facts from interpretations. Most of what we consider facts are actually interpretations. Start by identifying what actually happened versus what you think it means. For example, fact, I was laid off from my job. Interpretation, I'm a failure, or my career is over, or I'm too old to start over. Step 2. Challenge your interpretations. Question your automatic interpretations. Are they helpful or harmful? Are they based on evidence or fear? Are they opening possibilities or closing them? What would someone you admire say about this situation? Step 3. Generate alternative interpretations. Brainstorm at least 3 different ways to interpret the same situation. This layoff is forcing me to finally pursue that career change I've been considering. This is an opportunity to reassess what I really want from work. This experience is teaching me resilience and adaptability. Step 4. Choose the most empowering frame. Select the interpretation that is both realistic and empowering, one that acknowledges the difficulty while opening up possibilities for positive action. Step 5. Take action from the new frame. Your new interpretation should lead to different actions. If you've reframed a setback as a learning opportunity, what are you going to learn? If you've reframed a challenge as a chance to grow, how will you grow? Advanced reframing techniques. The October 10th 10 rule. When facing any challenge, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 10 minutes? 10 months? 10 years? This temporal perspective often reveals that current problems are less catastrophic than they initially appear, while also highlighting what truly matters in the long term. The deathbed test. Imagine yourself at age 90, looking back on your life. How would your older, wiser self want you to handle this current challenge? What would matter most from that perspective? This technique helps you maintain perspective and make decisions aligned with your deepest values. The obstacle as path. This concept, borrowed from Stoic philosophy, involves looking for ways that your current obstacle might actually be the path to your goal. How might this challenge be exactly what you need to develop the skills, connections, or insights required for your next level of success? The grateful disadvantage: identify aspects of your challenging situation that you can be genuinely grateful for. This isn't about forced positivity. It's about recognizing that even difficult experiences often contain gifts. The job loss that forces you to discover your entrepreneurial talents. The health scare that motivates you to finally prioritize wellness. The relationship ending that creates space for personal growth. The strength inventory when facing challenges. List all the personal strengths, skills, resources, and support systems you have available. Often, we feel powerless because we're focused on what we lack rather than what we possess. This technique helps you approach challenges from a position of strength rather than weakness. Real-world reframing examples. Career setback: original frame. I was passed over for promotion. I'm not valued here. My career is stagnating. Reframe: this gives me valuable information about what's truly important to this organization. I can use this feedback to develop the skills they value, or I could take my talents somewhere they'll be better appreciated. Either way, I'm clearer about my path forward. Relationship challenge: original frame. We're fighting all the time. This relationship is failing. I'm not good at relationships. Reframe: we're in a growth phase where we're learning to communicate better and understand each other more deeply. These challenges are teaching us skills that will make our relationship stronger, or they're helping us clarify whether we're truly compatible long-term. Health issue: original frame. This diagnosis is terrifying. My body is failing me. My life is derailed. Reframe: this is a wake-up call to take better care of myself and prioritize what truly matters. I have the opportunity to become more knowledgeable about my health and potentially help others facing similar challenges. This experience is teaching me resilience and showing me who my true support system is. Financial difficulty: original frame. I'm drowning in debt. I'm a financial failure. I'll never be secure. Reframe: this is forcing me to develop better financial habits and get clear about my real priorities. I'm learning valuable lessons about money management that will serve me for life. This temporary challenge is building my character and problem-solving skills. Building your reframing muscle. Like physical fitness, mental reframing becomes easier and more automatic with practice. Here are daily exercises to strengthen your reframing ability. The daily reframe: each evening, identify one challenging or frustrating experience from your day and practice reframing it. Write down both your initial interpretation and your reframed version. Over time, you'll notice reframing becoming more automatic. The gratitude bridge: for every complaint or worry, identify 3 things you're grateful for in the same situation. This trains your brain to look for positives even in difficult circumstances. The learning question: whenever something goes wrong, immediately ask, what can this teach me? This shifts your brain from victim mode to student mode, opening up possibilities for growth and improvement. The empathy reframe: when someone's behavior frustrates you, practice reframing their actions from a place of empathy. What might they be going through? What positive intention might underlie their behavior? This reduces your stress and often leads to better relationships. The future self-consultation: when facing decisions or challenges, imagine consulting with your future self who has successfully navigated this situation. What advice would they give? How would they want you to approach this challenge? Common reframing pitfalls and how to avoid them. Toxic positivity reframing doesn't mean pretending everything is wonderful or suppressing negative emotions. Acknowledge difficulties while looking for empowering ways to respond to them. Spiritual bypassing: don't use reframing to avoid taking practical action. Everything happens for a reason shouldn't become an excuse for passivity. Reframe situations in ways that empower you to act constructively. Comparison trap: avoid reframing your situation by comparing it to others who have it worse. At least I'm not isn't a sustainable or empowering frame. Focus on finding meaning and opportunity in your specific situation. Perfectionism: you don't need to reframe every negative thought immediately. Start with the most significant challenges and build your skills gradually. Be patient with yourself as you develop this new mental habit. The ripple effects of mindset mastery. When you master the art of reframing, the effects extend far beyond your personal resilience. Your new mindset influences how others perceive and respond to you. People are drawn to those who can find possibility in difficulty and maintain their equilibrium during storms. Your reframed perspective often helps others see their own situations differently. Additionally, your decision-making improves dramatically. When you can see multiple interpretations of any situation, you make better choices because you're working with a more complete picture of reality. You become more creative in your problem solving because you're not locked into limiting beliefs about what's possible. Perhaps most importantly, you develop what psychologists call learned optimism, a realistic but hopeful outlook that expects good outcomes while preparing for challenges. This mindset is strongly correlated with better health, stronger relationships, greater career success, and higher life satisfaction. Your mindset is the foundation upon which all other resilient skills are built. When you truly understand that your interpretation of events is often more important than the events themselves, you reclaim your power from external circumstances. You stop being a victim of what happens to you and become the architect of what you make of what happens to you. The choice is always yours. In every moment, you can choose thoughts that empower or thoughts that diminish. You can choose interpretations that open possibilities or close them. You can choose to see yourself as a victim of circumstances or as a victor over them. Make that choice now. Your resilient future depends on it. Chapter 2. Build your inner fortress, developing emotional strength. Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell was the lone survivor of a mission gone wrong in Afghanistan. Severely wounded, alone in hostile territory, and with Taliban fighters hunting him, he had every reason to surrender to despair. Instead, he drew upon years of mental and emotional training that had prepared him for exactly this type of extreme adversity. For days, he managed his fear, pain, and desperation while making calculated decisions that ultimately saved his life. What enabled Luttrell to maintain his emotional equilibrium under such extreme conditions wasn't just physical training. It was his inner fortress, a psychological foundation of emotional strength that remained intact even when everything else fell apart. You may never face combat, but life has its own battles. The death of a loved one, a devastating diagnosis, financial ruin, betrayal by someone you trusted, public failure, or humiliation. In these moments, your inner fortress, your emotional resilience, becomes your most valuable asset. Building emotional strength isn't about becoming emotionless or invulnerable. It's about developing a healthy, empowering relationship with your emotions that allows you to feel deeply while maintaining your capacity to think clearly and act wisely. It's about creating an inner sanctuary that remains peaceful even when storms rage around you. Understanding emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is your ability to navigate strong emotions without being overwhelmed or controlled by them. It's the capacity to feel the full spectrum of human emotions, including difficult ones like fear, anger, sadness, and disappointment, while maintaining your psychological equilibrium and ability to function effectively. Think of emotional resilience like a deep-rooted tree. When storms come, the tree bends and sways, but its roots run so deep that it doesn't break or get uprooted. The tree doesn't resist the wind. It moves with it while staying anchored. Similarly, emotional resilience allows you to experience life's emotional storms without losing your foundation. This is fundamentally different from emotional suppression, which is like building a dam to hold back water. Dams work temporarily, but they require enormous energy to maintain and catastrophically fail when pressure exceeds their capacity. Emotional resilience is more like learning to navigate the river skillfully, working with the natural flow of emotions rather than against it. The architecture of your inner fortress. Your inner fortress consists of several interconnected components, each requiring intentional development. Emotional awareness. The foundation: you cannot manage what you cannot identify. Emotional awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your emotions as they arise. Many people experience emotions as vague, overwhelming sensations. I feel bad, or I'm stressed. Emotional awareness requires developing a sophisticated vocabulary for internal states and the ability to recognize subtle emotional shifts before they become overwhelming. Emotional acceptance. The walls of your fortress aren't built to keep emotions out, but to create a safe space where all emotions are welcomed and acknowledged. Emotional acceptance is the practice of allowing emotions to exist without immediately trying to change, fix, or escape them. Paradoxically, acceptance is what allows emotions to flow through you naturally rather than getting stuck. Emotional regulation. The control center of this is your ability to influence the intensity, duration, and expression of your emotions. Regulation doesn't mean control. You can't simply decide to feel different. But you can learn to respond to emotions skillfully rather than reactively, choosing how to express and channel emotional energy constructively. Emotional recovery. The renewal system. Everyone experiences emotional setbacks and overwhelm. Recovery is your ability to return to emotional equilibrium after difficult experiences. This includes both immediate coping strategies for acute stress and longer-term healing practices for processing deeper emotional wounds. Emotional intelligence. The navigation system. This encompasses your ability to understand and work with emotions, both your own and others. It includes empathy, social awareness, and the ability to navigate relationships effectively even during emotionally charged situations. Developing emotional awareness. Most people are strangers to their own emotional landscapes. They know they feel good or bad, stressed or fine, but lack the nuanced awareness that enables skillful emotional navigation. The emotion mapping exercise. Create a daily practice of emotional check-ins. Set reminders 3 times throughout the day to pause and identify your current emotional state. Use specific language. Instead of stressed, try overwhelmed by competing priorities, anxious about tomorrow's presentation, or frustrated by the slow progress on this project. Use an emotion wheel or list to expand your emotional vocabulary beyond basic terms. The English language has hundreds of words for different emotional states, and learning to identify emotions precisely is the first step toward managing them effectively. The body scan technique. Emotions manifest physically before we're consciously aware of them. Developing body awareness helps you detect emotional shifts early, when they're easier to address. Several times daily, do a quick body scan. Notice your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Rapid or slow? Check your shoulders and neck for tension. Pay attention to your stomach and chest sensations. Observe your jaw, hands, and overall posture. These physical cues often provide earlier warning of emotional changes than conscious thought. The stop method. When you notice strong emotions arising, use the stop technique. Stop what you're doing. Take 3 deep breaths. Observe what you're feeling and thinking without judgment. Proceed with intention rather than reaction. This creates crucial space between trigger and response, allowing you to choose your actions rather than being driven by emotional impulse. Emotional journaling. Keep a daily record of your significant emotional experiences. Note triggers, physical sensations, thoughts, and how you responded. Over time, you'll identify patterns and triggers, making future emotional navigation more skillful. Mastering emotional acceptance. The paradox of emotional management is that the more you fight difficult emotions, the stronger they become. Acceptance doesn't mean approval or resignation. It means acknowledging reality without immediately trying to change it. The Guest House practice. Rumi's famous poem, The Guest House, provides a beautiful metaphor for emotional acceptance. Treat emotions like guests arriving at your door. Some guests are welcome, others aren't, but all have something to offer. Greet each emotion, acknowledge its presence, and listen to what it has to tell you. Fear might be warning you about a real danger or highlighting something important to you. Anger might be signaling a boundary violation or injustice that needs addressing. Sadness might be helping you process loss or showing you what you truly value. Even uncomfortable emotions serve purposes. The temporary nature reminder: all emotions are temporary. When experiencing difficult emotions, remind yourself, this feeling is temporary. It will pass. I can handle this. This perspective helps you endure difficult emotional states without being overwhelmed by them. Research shows that the physiological lifespan of an emotion is approximately 90 seconds. After that, you're choosing to recreate the emotional state through your thoughts and attention. This doesn't mean you should expect emotions to disappear in 90 seconds. Complex emotions often involve multiple waves and layers. But understanding that individual emotional waves are brief can help you ride them out. Emotional validation: replace self-judgment with self-compassion. Instead of "I shouldn't feel this way," try "it makes sense that I feel this way given what I'm experiencing." Validate your emotions as natural human responses rather than character flaws. The witness perspective: practice observing your emotions with curious detachment, like a scientist studying an interesting phenomenon. Isn't it interesting that I'm feeling anxious right now? I wonder what triggered this. How is it manifesting in my body? This perspective creates distance between you and your emotions, reducing their power over you. Developing emotional regulation skills. Emotional regulation isn't about controlling emotions. It's about responding to them skillfully. Here are proven techniques for managing emotional intensity. Breathing techniques: your breath is directly connected to your emotional state and is one of the few aspects of your nervous system you can consciously control. When emotions become overwhelming. 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, promoting calm. Box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This creates mental focus and emotional balance. Coherent breathing. Breathe in and out for equal counts, usually 5 to 6 seconds each, for several minutes. This synchronizes your heart rate variability and promotes emotional coherence. Cognitive reappraisal: change your emotional response by changing your interpretation of the situation. Ask yourself, how else could I interpret this situation? What would someone I respect do in this situation? How will this matter in 5 years? What opportunity might this challenge create? The emotional thermostat: when emotions are too intense, use techniques to dial down the intensity. Progressive muscle relaxation. Cold water on your face or wrists. Intense physical exercise. Listening to calming music. Engaging in a mentally absorbing task. When emotions are too flat or disconnected, use techniques to dial up intensity. Vigorous exercise. Uplifting music. Connecting with inspiring content. Reaching out to energizing people. Engaging in creative activities. Emotional surfing: instead of fighting against intense emotions, learn to surf them. Acknowledge the emotion, breathe with it, and allow it to peak and naturally subside. Like ocean waves, emotional waves have a natural rhythm. They build, crest, and recede. The Name It to Tame It technique research by neuroscientist Dan Siegel shows that simply naming emotions reduces their intensity. When you feel overwhelmed, specifically identify what you're feeling. I'm feeling anxious about the presentation, frustrated with my colleague's response, and disappointed in my own performance. This simple act of labeling activates your prefrontal cortex and calms your emotional centers. Building emotional recovery systems. Even the most emotionally skilled people experience overwhelm, setbacks, and depletion. The difference is in how quickly and completely they recover. Immediate recovery strategies for acute emotional overwhelm. The TIP technique: temperature, cold water, intense exercise, paced breathing, progressive muscle relaxation. Grounding exercises: name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. Safe space visualization. Mentally transport yourself to a place where you feel completely safe and calm. Bilateral stimulation. Cross-body movements like walking, swimming, or alternating tapping that integrate brain hemispheres. Emotional decompression practices after challenging emotional experiences. Physical movement to metabolize stress hormones. creative expression through art, music, or writing, talking with trusted friends or professionals, spending time in nature, engaging in self-care rituals. Processing and integration don't just recover from difficult emotions. Learn from them. What triggered this emotional response? What was the emotion trying to tell me? How can I better prepare for similar situations? What strengths did I discover in myself? How can this experience serve me or others in the future? Support system activation. Know when and how to reach out for help. This might include friends who can provide emotional support, family members who offer unconditional love, professionals trained in emotional healing, support groups with others facing similar challenges, mentors who can provide perspective and guidance, advanced emotional strength techniques. Emotional granularity development. The more specifically you can identify your emotions, the better you can work with them. Instead of "I feel bad," practice identifying the specific combination. I feel disappointed about the outcome, anxious about the implications, slightly embarrassed about my role, and determined to do better next time. Emotion regulation strategies menu. Create a personalized menu of techniques that work for different emotional states. When anxious, breathing exercises, grounding techniques, reality checking. When angry, intense exercise, journaling, problem solving. When sad, gentle movement, creative expression, connection with others. When overwhelmed, simplification, delegation, boundary setting. Emotional forecasting. Develop your ability to anticipate emotional challenges and prepare for them. If you know a particular situation triggers anxiety, prepare coping strategies in advance. If certain anniversaries are emotionally difficult, plan support and self-care around those times. Building emotional tolerance. Gradually increase your capacity to sit with difficult emotions without needing to escape or fix them immediately. Start with mildly uncomfortable emotions and build your tolerance over time. This builds confidence in your ability to handle whatever emotions arise. The neuroscience of emotional strength. Understanding what happens in your brain during emotional experiences can help you work with your nervous system more effectively. The amygdala hijack. When you perceive threat, your amygdala, emotional brain, can override your prefrontal cortex, thinking brain, in milliseconds. This hijack is helpful for real physical danger, but problematic for most modern stressors. Recognizing when you're experiencing an amygdala hijack allows you to activate your prefrontal cortex through breathing, naming, and conscious choice. Neuroplasticity and emotional habits. Every time you respond to emotions skillfully, you strengthen neural pathways that make skillful responses more automatic. Every time you react emotionally without awareness, you reinforce reactive patterns. This means that emotional regulation literally gets easier the more you practice it. The window of tolerance. Everyone has a window of tolerance, a zone of arousal where you can think clearly and function effectively. Emotional regulation techniques help you stay within this window or return to it quickly when you've been pushed outside by stress or overwhelm. Emotional strength in relationships. Your emotional fortress isn't just for personal benefit. It dramatically improves your relationships. Emotional contagion awareness. Emotions are contagious. When you maintain emotional equilibrium, you help others do the same. When you're emotionally reactive, you escalate tension in others. Your emotional state influences every interaction. Conflict navigation. Strong emotional skills allow you to navigate conflict constructively rather than destructively. You can stay present during difficult conversations, communicate your needs clearly, and find solutions that work for everyone. Empathy without absorption. You can understand and care about others' emotions without taking them on as your own. This allows you to be supportive without becoming overwhelmed by others' emotional states. Boundary setting. Emotional strength includes knowing when to say no, when to step back, and when to protect your emotional energy. This isn't selfish. It ensures you have the resources to show up fully when it matters most. Daily practices for emotional strength. Morning emotional preparation. Start each day by checking in with your emotional state and setting intentions for how you want to navigate the day's challenges. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What emotions might I encounter today? How do I want to respond to difficulties? Midday emotional maintenance. Set reminders to pause and assess your emotional state throughout the day. If you notice stress building, use quick regulation techniques before things become overwhelming. Evening emotional review before bed. Reflect on the day's emotional experiences. What emotions did you experience? How did you handle them? What would you do differently? What emotional skills did you practice successfully? This reflection builds self-awareness and emotional learning. Weekly emotional inventory each week. Assess your emotional patterns and growth. Are there recurring triggers you need to address? Emotional skills you want to develop? Support systems you need to strengthen? Use this information to adjust your emotional development practices. The compound effect of emotional strength. Building emotional resilience creates a positive spiral in your life. As you become more emotionally skilled, you handle challenges better, which builds confidence, which makes you more willing to take on meaningful challenges, which provides more opportunities to practice emotional skills. Over time, situations that once felt overwhelming become manageable, and you develop genuine confidence in your ability to handle whatever life brings. People with strong emotional foundations don't experience fewer difficulties. They experience them differently. They recover faster from setbacks, maintain better relationships during stress, make clearer decisions under pressure, and ultimately achieve more of their potential because they're not constantly depleted by emotional turbulence. Your inner fortress isn't built overnight, but every moment offers an opportunity to add another stone to its foundation. Each time you choose awareness over reactivity, acceptance over resistance, or skillful response over emotional reaction, you're building the emotional strength that will carry you through any storm toward your highest potential. The goal isn't to become emotionally invulnerable. It's to become emotionally intelligent, resilient, and strong. To feel deeply while thinking clearly. To remain open-hearted while staying grounded. To navigate life's emotional challenges with grace, wisdom, and authentic strength. Your emotions are not your enemies. They're sources of information, energy, and connection. When you build a healthy relationship with them, they become allies in creating the life you truly want. Chapter 3. The Art of Adaptation. Embracing Change as Opportunity. When Reed Hastings received the dreaded phone call in 1997, he knew his company was in trouble. A customer was furious about being charged a $40 late fee for returning Apollo 13 6 weeks late to Blockbuster. As Hastings drove to the gym afterward, feeling embarrassed and frustrated by the incident, a question formed in his mind. What if there were no late fees? That question led to the creation of Netflix, which started as a DVD by mail service with no due dates. But the story of adaptation was just beginning. When Hastings realized that streaming technology would eventually make DVDs obsolete, he made one of the boldest business decisions in corporate history. He began cannibalizing his own profitable DVD business to build a streaming service that didn't yet turn a profit. Wall Street punished Netflix's stock. Customers complained about the changes. Industry experts called it suicide. But Hastings understood something profound about adaptation. If you don't disrupt yourself, someone else will disrupt you. Today, Netflix is a global entertainment powerhouse worth over $100 billion, while Blockbuster is a cautionary tale taught in business schools. Netflix's story illustrates the essence of adaptive resilience, the ability to not just survive change, but to anticipate it, embrace it, and use it as fuel for growth. In our rapidly evolving world, this capacity isn't just valuable. It's essential for anyone who wants to thrive rather than merely survive. Understanding the new reality of change. We live in an era of exponential change. The pace of technological advancement, social transformation, and global connectivity means that the half-life of skills, strategies, and even entire industries is shrinking rapidly. What worked yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow, and what seems impossible today may be commonplace next year. This acceleration of change creates both tremendous opportunity and tremendous stress. Those who adapt skillfully find themselves riding waves of innovation and possibility. Those who resist or struggle with adaptation often find themselves left behind, wondering what happened to the world they once knew. The key insight is that change itself has changed. Previously, change was episodic. Major shifts happen occasionally, giving people time to adjust before the next wave. Now, change is continuous. The new normal is constant adaptation, continuous learning, and perpetual evolution. This reality requires a fundamental shift in how we approach life and work. Instead of seeking stability and predictability, we must develop comfort with uncertainty and fluidity. Instead of building rigid plans, we must develop adaptive capabilities. Instead of resisting change, we must learn to dance with it. The mindset of adaptability. Adaptation begins in the mind. Before you can change your external responses, you must shift your internal relationship with change itself. From security to anti-fragility, traditional thinking prizes security, the stable job, the predictable routine, the known outcome. But in a rapidly changing world, the pursuit of security can become a form of brittleness. True security comes not from avoiding change, but from developing the ability to thrive regardless of what changes occur. Nassim Taleb's concept of anti-fragility captures this perfectly. Anti-fragile systems don't just withstand stress, they actually grow stronger because of it. An anti-fragile career doesn't just survive industry disruption, it benefits from the new opportunities that disruption creates. From planning to preparation, detailed long-term planning assumes you can predict and control the future. Adaptive preparation focuses on building capabilities and creating options that will serve you regardless of what specific changes occur. Instead of having one perfect plan, you develop multiple scenarios and flexible capabilities. From specialization to portfolio thinking, while deep expertise remains valuable, adaptive people also cultivate diverse skills, interests, and income streams. They become T-shaped professionals, deep in one area but broad enough to connect ideas across different fields and adapt to new contexts. From comfort to growth, adaptation requires regularly stepping outside your comfort zone. Adaptive people view discomfort as information rather than a problem to be avoided. They understand that the edge of your comfort zone is where growth happens. The ADAPT framework for change navigation. When facing any significant change, use this systematic approach. A. Acknowledge reality. The first step in adaptation is accepting what has actually changed. Denial and resistance consume energy that could be used for adaptation. Look at the situation objectively. What exactly has changed? Where are the new constraints and possibilities? What assumptions no longer apply? Sarah, a retail manager, provides a perfect example. When e-commerce began devastating physical retail, her initial response was denial. This is just a fad. People will always want to touch and feel products before buying. This mindset prevented her from adapting until it was almost too late. Only when she acknowledged the fundamental shift in consumer behavior could she begin to adapt her skills and career path. D. Detach from the past. Acknowledge what you're losing without clinging to it. Grief for what was is natural and healthy, but don't let attachment to the past prevent you from seeing future possibilities. Practice letting go of outdated methods, relationships, or identities that no longer serve you. This doesn't mean disrespecting your history or throwing away everything you built. It means releasing your grip on aspects of the past that are preventing you from moving forward effectively. A. Assess new possibilities. Every change creates new opportunities, but they're often different from what you originally expected. Brainstorm possibilities without immediately judging them. What new paths have opened up? What skills could you develop? What connections could you make? What problems need solving? When traditional journalism faced disruption from digital media, many journalists initially saw only destruction. Those who adapted successfully recognized new possibilities. Independent newsletters, podcast journalism, social media reporting, and content creation for new platforms. P. Plan your response based on your assessment. Create an action plan. This doesn't have to be perfect or permanent. It just needs to get you moving in a positive direction. Focus on experiments and small steps that help you learn and build momentum rather than betting everything on one approach. Take action. Adaptation requires action, not just analysis. Start implementing your plan while remaining flexible as you learn new information. The goal is progress and learning, not perfection. Developing core adaptive capabilities. Certain skills make adaptation easier and more effective across different types of change. Rapid learning ability in a fast-changing world. Your ability to acquire new knowledge and skills quickly becomes a competitive advantage. This includes learning how to learn effectively, identifying the crucial 20% of any new domain that provides 80% of the value, building on existing knowledge rather than starting from scratch, using modern learning tools and techniques. Pattern recognition. Learning to identify patterns and change helps you anticipate what's coming next and position yourself advantageously. Study how similar changes have played out in the past. What factors determine success or failure? What early indicators signal major shifts? Scenario planning. Regularly engage in what-if thinking. Consider multiple possible futures and how you might respond to each. This mental rehearsal prepares you to adapt more quickly when change actually occurs. Network intelligence. Build diverse networks that can provide early information about changes in your field, industry, or area of interest. People with strong networks often see changes coming before those who are isolated in single communities. Resource flexibility. Maintain reserves, financial, professional, and personal, that can be deployed during times of change. These reserves provide the stability needed to take calculated risks and explore new opportunities. Experimentation mindset. Treat uncertain situations as experiments rather than permanent commitments. This reduces pressure and increases learning. You're not betting your entire future on one decision. You're gathering information about what works. Adaptation strategies for different life areas. Career adaptation. The modern career requires continuous evolution. Industries emerge and disappear, job roles transform, and skills become obsolete faster than ever. Build a career that can adapt. Develop a portfolio of complementary skills rather than relying on a single expertise. Build professional networks across different industries and roles. Stay informed about trends affecting your field. Create multiple income streams when possible. View each role as a stepping stone rather than a destination. Continuously update your skills and knowledge. Consider the story of Maria, a travel agent whose industry was decimated by online booking platforms. Instead of fighting the change, she adapted by becoming a luxury travel consultant, using her deep knowledge of destinations and relationships with hotels to serve high-end clients who valued personalized service. She transformed from order taker to strategic advisor. Financial adaptation. Economic conditions constantly shift, requiring financial flexibility. Build emergency funds that provide security during transitions. Diversify income sources to reduce dependence on any single stream. Develop financial literacy to understand and adapt to economic changes. Create systems that can scale up or down based on circumstances. Stay informed about economic trends that might affect your situation. Relationship adaptation. Healthy relationships require continuous adaptation as people grow and change. Maintain open communication about individual growth and changing needs. Remain curious about your partner's evolution rather than expecting them to stay static. Be willing to adjust relationship dynamics as circumstances change. Support each other's individual adaptation and growth. Create relationships that can weather different seasons of life. Health adaptation. Your body and health needs change throughout life, requiring adaptive wellness strategies. Adapt exercise routines as your body ages and circumstances change. Adjust nutrition based on changing metabolic needs and health conditions. Develop stress management techniques that work in different life phases. Build relationships with healthcare providers who understand your evolving needs. Stay informed about health research relevant to your situation. The innovation opportunity in change. Change creates space for innovation. When old ways of doing things no longer work, creative solutions become valuable. Position yourself to be an innovator rather than just an adapter. Identify unmet needs. Change often creates new problems that need solving. Look for gaps between what people need and what's currently available. These gaps represent opportunities for innovation and value creation. Combine existing elements. Creatively, innovation often involves combining existing elements in new ways rather than creating something entirely novel. How can you combine your existing skills, knowledge, or resources to address new challenges? Learn from adjacent industry. Solutions that work in one context can often be adapted to another. Study how different industries handle similar challenges and adapt their approaches to your situation. Prototype and iterate rapidly. Don't wait for perfect solutions. Create quick prototypes, test them in small ways, learn from the results, and iterate. This approach allows you to adapt quickly based on real feedback rather than theoretical planning. Building organizational adaptability. If you're in a leadership position, you can help create more adaptive organizations. Create psychological safety. People adapt better when they feel safe to experiment and fail. Create environments where calculated risks are encouraged and learning from failure is rewarded. Encourage continuous learning. Provide opportunities and incentives for people to develop new skills and knowledge. This builds organizational capacity to handle future changes. Reward flexibility over rigidity. Recognize and reward people who demonstrate adaptive behavior, not just those who follow established procedures perfectly. Communicate transparently. Keep people informed about changes and the reasoning behind them. This reduces anxiety and helps people understand how to adapt effectively. Decentralized decision-making. Push decision-making authority down to levels where people have direct contact with changing conditions. This enables faster adaptation to local circumstances. Advanced adaptation techniques. The pivot strategy. Sometimes adaptation requires fundamental changes in direction rather than incremental adjustments. Learn to recognize when pivot points have arrived and how to execute them effectively. This requires letting go of sunk costs and previous commitments when they no longer serve your goals. The portfolio approach. Instead of putting all your energy into one path, develop multiple parallel options. This might mean pursuing several career directions simultaneously, building diverse skill sets, or creating multiple income streams. When one path becomes blocked, others remain open. The transformation strategy. Sometimes change requires not just external adaptation, but internal transformation, changing your identity, values, or fundamental approach to life. This is the deepest form of adaptation and often the most rewarding. Common adaptation pitfalls. Analysis paralysis. Don't let the desire for perfect information prevent you from taking action. In rapidly changing situations, you'll never have complete information. Start with what you know and adapt as you learn more. Sunk cost fallacy. Don't let previous investments prevent you from changing course when circumstances have shifted. The question isn't what you've already invested, but what's the best path forward from where you are now. Identity rigidity. Don't let your sense of identity become so rigid that it prevents necessary adaptations. You can maintain your core values while evolving your methods, roles, and approaches. Change resistance. Don't waste energy fighting changes that are inevitable. Channel that energy into adapting effectively instead. The compound benefits of adaptation mastery. When you master the art of adaptation, you gain several compound advantages. Increased opportunities. Adaptive people see and seize opportunities that others miss. They're positioned to benefit from changes that catch others off guard. Reduce stress. When you're confident in your ability to adapt, change becomes less threatening. You maintain emotional equilibrium because you know you can handle whatever comes. Enhance creativity. Regular adaptation exercises your creative problem-solving muscles. You become more innovative in all areas of life, not just in response to forced changes. Greater resilience. Each successful adaptation builds confidence in your ability to handle future changes. You develop genuine resilience based on proven capability rather than wishful thinking. Competitive advantage in a rapidly changing world. Adaptation itself becomes a competitive advantage. While others struggle with change, you thrive because of it. The river of change flows constantly, carrying opportunities and challenges in equal measure. You can either struggle against the current, exhausting yourself in futile resistance, or learn to navigate skillfully, using the river's energy to reach destinations you could never have imagined from the shore. The choice is yours. The current will continue regardless of your decision, but your ability to adapt, to find opportunity in disruption, and to transform challenge into advantage, that's entirely within your control. Master the art of adaptation, and you'll not only survive in an uncertain world, you'll thrive in it, finding possibilities where others see only problems and creating success from the very changes that defeat those who resist them. Chapter 4. Your Support Network, the Power of Connection. When Cheryl Strayed found herself divorced, grieving her mother's death, and spiraling into destructive behaviors at age 26, she made an impulsive decision that changed her life. She would hike 1,100 miles of the Pacific Crest Trail alone. For 94 days, she walked through deserts and mountains, carrying a backpack she nicknamed Monster, facing physical exhaustion, dangerous weather, and her own inner demons. But Strayed's journey wasn't truly solitary. Throughout her trek, she encountered trail angels, strangers who provided food, water, shelter, and encouragement exactly when she needed it most. A park ranger who shared his dinner. A couple who offered their shower and laundry facilities. Fellow hikers who provided companionship during the loneliest stretches. Even brief encounters with gas station attendants and small-town locals provided crucial support. As Strayed later reflected in her memoir, Wild, what made her journey possible wasn't just individual determination. It was the network of human connections that sustained her when her own resources weren't enough. Her story illustrates a fundamental truth about resilience. We are not meant to face life's challenges alone. The myth of the rugged individualist who succeeds entirely through personal effort is not just inaccurate, it's dangerous. It leads people to attempt impossible feats of solo resilience, burning out when they could have been thriving with proper support. Research consistently shows that people with strong social connections are healthier, happier, more resilient, and more successful than those who try to navigate life's challenges in isolation. The science of social support. Human beings evolved as tribal creatures. For most of our species' history, being separated from the group meant death. This evolutionary heritage means that social connection isn't just psychologically beneficial, it's physiologically essential. Studies show that people with strong social support have lower levels of stress hormones like cortisol, stronger immune systems, lower rates of depression and anxiety, better cardiovascular health, increased longevity. Social isolation is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Greater resilience during major life challenges. Faster recovery from setbacks and trauma. The benefits aren't just emotional. Social support literally changes your brain and body chemistry, activating systems that promote healing, growth, and resilience while dampening systems associated with stress and inflammation. Understanding your support ecosystem. Your support network isn't just your family and closest friends. It's a diverse ecosystem of relationships, each serving different functions and providing different types of support. Understanding this ecosystem helps you build a more complete and effective network. The inner circle. Emotional core. These are your closest relationships. Intimate partners, family members, and best friends who provide unconditional love, emotional support, and deep understanding. They're your safe harbor during storms, offering comfort, encouragement, and perspective when life gets overwhelming. This circle typically includes 3 to 5 people who know you deeply, accept you completely, and are available during your darkest moments. They provide what psychologists call secure attachment, the foundational sense that you are loved and valued regardless of your achievements or failures. The learning circle. Growth partners, these are people who challenge you to grow. Mentors, coaches, teachers, accountability partners, and fellow learners who push you to reach higher and develop new capabilities. They provide honest feedback, share knowledge, and hold you accountable to your commitments. This circle includes formal mentors, informal advisors, colleagues who inspire you, and peers who are on similar growth journeys. They help you see your blind spots, identify opportunities for development, and maintain momentum toward your goals. The professional circle, career support, this includes mentors, colleagues, industry contacts, professional advisors, and others who provide career guidance, opportunities, and professional development. They help you navigate workplace challenges, identify new possibilities, and build professional capabilities. This network extends beyond your current workplace to include alumni connections, industry associations, professional groups, and others who understand your professional context and can provide relevant support. The service circle, community connection, these are people you serve alongside in various causes, volunteers, community members, activists, and others who share your values and commitment to making a difference. These relationships provide a sense of belonging and purpose beyond your immediate personal interests. Service relationships often become some of the most meaningful and supportive because they're built around shared values and collective purpose rather than individual benefit. The expertise circle, specialized support, these are professionals who provide specialized knowledge and services. Doctors, lawyers, financial advisors, therapists, trainers, and other experts who help you navigate specific challenges and optimize different areas of your life. While these relationships may be transactional, the best expertise relationships evolve into trusted partnerships where professionals truly understand your situation and provide personalized guidance. The fun circle, joy and recreation, don't underestimate the importance of people who simply make life more enjoyable. Hobby partners, workout buddies, travel companions, and others who bring lightness, laughter, and play to your life. These relationships provide crucial stress relief, help you maintain perspective, and remind you that life isn't just about overcoming challenges. It's also about experiencing joy. The 5 types of support. Understanding what different types of support can provide helps you build a more strategic and effective network. Emotional support, this involves empathy, caring, love, and trust. Emotional support helps you feel valued and understood, reducing stress and providing comfort during difficult times. It includes listening without judgment, providing empathy and understanding, offering comfort during difficult times, celebrating successes and achievements, affirming your worth and value as a person. Informational support, this includes advice, suggestions, and information that helps you solve problems and make better decisions. Different people in your network will have different expertise and perspectives to offer. Professional advice and guidance, personal experiences and lessons learned, research and factual information, different perspectives on challenges, feedback on ideas and plans. Instrumental support, this is tangible help, financial assistance, services, or resources that directly address practical needs, financial loans or assistance, professional services and expertise, introductions and connections, physical help with tasks and projects, access to resources and opportunities. Appraisal support, this involves feedback and perspective that helps you evaluate yourself and your situations accurately. Honest feedback about your strengths and weaknesses. Reality checks when you're over or underestimating situations. Help identifying blind spots. Perspective on your progress and growth. Encouragement to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Social integration, this provides a sense of belonging and shared experience, reducing isolation and providing motivation. Shared activities and interests. Group identity and belonging. Collective problem solving. Mutual accountability and encouragement. Shared values and purpose. Building your support network strategically. Building a strong support network requires intentional effort and strategic thinking. Here's how to approach it. Assess your current network. Start by mapping your existing relationships across the different circles and types of support. Use these questions. Who provides emotional support when you're struggling? Who challenges you to grow and improve? Who offers professional guidance and opportunities? Who shares your values and serve alongside you? Who brings joy and lightness to your life? Where are the gaps in your support system? Identify your support needs. Consider the challenges you're likely to face and the types of support you'll need. What are your biggest stressors and vulnerabilities? What goals are you pursuing that require support? What skills or knowledge do you need to develop? What life transitions are you navigating? What brings you energy and joy? Be strategic about expansion. You can't build deep relationships with everyone, but you can be strategic about where to invest your relationship building energy. Look for people who share your values. Seek relationships that are mutually beneficial. Prioritize quality over quantity. Consider diversity of perspectives and backgrounds. Focus on people who inspire and energize you. Focus on mutual value. The strongest support relationships are built on mutual benefit and genuine care for each other's success. Ask yourself, what value do I bring to this relationship? How can I support this person's goals and challenges? What do we have in common that creates natural connection? How can we help each other grow and succeed? Nurturing and maintaining relationships. Building a network is just the beginning. Maintaining strong relationships requires ongoing attention and effort. Regular connection. Strong relationships require consistent contact. This doesn't mean daily communication, but it does mean regular, meaningful interaction. Schedule regular check-ins with important people. Remember and acknowledge important events in their lives. Share updates about your own journey and challenges. Reach out when you haven't connected in a while. Reciprocal support. Healthy relationships involve giving and receiving support. Be generous with your time, attention, and resources when others need help. Offer support proactively, not just when asked. Share your knowledge and resources freely. Make introductions that could benefit others. Celebrate others' successes genuinely. Be present during their difficult times. Appreciation and gratitude. Regularly express appreciation for the people who support you. Thank people specifically for how they've helped you. Acknowledge their contributions publicly when appropriate. Write thoughtful notes expressing your gratitude. Give gifts that show you understand and appreciate them. Tell others about the positive impact these people have had on you. Boundaries and balance. Healthy relationships require appropriate boundaries. Be clear about what you can and cannot provide. Respect others' limitations and availability. Don't let relationships become one-sided or draining. Address conflicts and misunderstandings directly. Make time for self-care so you can show up fully for others. Activating your network during crisis. When facing major challenges, knowing how to activate your support network effectively can make the difference between thriving and merely surviving. Assess your needs clearly before reaching out for help. Get clear about what you actually need. Emotional support and someone to listen. Practical advice or problem-solving help. Financial or material assistance. Professional guidance or expertise. Social connection and distraction from problems. Match needs to the right people. Different people in your network are better suited to provide different types of support. Don't ask your emotional support people for professional advice. Don't burden your fun circle with heavy emotional processing. Don't expect instrumental support from people who can't provide it. Match your requests to people's strengths and availability. Ask specifically and directly. Many people want to help but don't know how. Be specific about what you need. I'm struggling with this decision and need someone to help me think through the options. I need emotional support and someone to listen without trying to fix anything. I need an introduction to someone who understands this industry. I need help with practical tasks while I'm dealing with this crisis. Express gratitude and offer reciprocity. Always acknowledge the support you receive and look for ways to give back. Thank people specifically for how they helped. Follow up to let them know how their support made a difference. Look for opportunities to support them in return. Pay it forward by helping others in similar situations. Expanding your network strategically. Continuously expanding your network creates new opportunities for support and growth. Professional development. Join industry associations and professional groups. Attend conferences, workshops, and networking events. Participate in online communities relevant to your field. Seek out mentorship relationships. Offer to mentor others who are earlier in their journey. Personal growth. Join groups focused on shared interests or hobbies. Participate in educational programs and classes. Engage in volunteer work and community service. Join religious or spiritual communities if that aligns with your values. Participate in support groups relevant to your challenges. Mutual interest groups. Book clubs and discussion groups. Sports teams and fitness groups. Travel groups and adventure clubs. Creative workshops and maker spaces. Investment clubs and financial education groups. Digital connection. Engage meaningfully on social media platforms. Participate in online forums and communities. Join virtual events and webinars. Connect with people through shared content and interests. Use technology to maintain long-distance relationships. Supporting others. The reciprocity principle. The best way to build a strong support network is to be an excellent source of support for others. This creates a positive cycle where your generosity returns to you multiplied. Active listening. Give people your full attention when they're sharing challenges. Ask thoughtful questions that help them process their thoughts. Reflect back what you're hearing to ensure understanding. Avoid immediately jumping to solutions unless asked. Resource sharing. Share knowledge, connections, and opportunities freely. Make introductions that could benefit others. Recommend resources that have helped you. Offer your skills and expertise when relevant. Emotional presence. Be available during others' difficult times. Celebrate their successes genuinely. Provide encouragement when they're facing challenges. Offer perspective when they're stuck or overwhelmed. Accountability and challenge. Help others stay committed to their goals. Provide honest feedback when asked. Challenge them to reach higher when appropriate. Support them through difficult growth processes. Overcoming network building challenges. Many people struggle with building support networks due to common barriers, introversion, and social anxiety. Start with one-on-one connections rather than group events. Focus on shared interests and activities rather than general socializing. Use online connections to build relationships before meeting in person. Remember that many meaningful relationships start with brief, low-key interactions. Geographic mobility. Maintain long-distance relationships through technology. Be proactive about building new connections when you move. Join groups and organizations quickly in new locations. Use existing connections to get introductions in new places. Time constraints. Integrate relationship building into existing activities. Focus on quality over quantity in your connections. Use commute time and breaks for quick check-ins. Combine networking with other goals, fitness groups, learning opportunities. Professional competition. Focus on abundance rather than scarcity thinking. Look for ways to collaborate rather than compete. Share credit and opportunities generously. Build relationships outside your immediate competitive sphere. The long-term benefits of strong networks. Investing in relationships pays dividends throughout your life. Career advancement. Most opportunities come through personal connections rather than formal applications. Strong networks provide access to job opportunities and career moves, business partnerships and collaborations, industry insights and trends, professional development opportunities, mentorship and guidance. Personal resilience, strong relationships provide the foundation for weathering life's storms. Emotional support during difficult times. Practical help when you're overwhelmed. Perspective when you're stuck or confused. Motivation to keep going when things are tough. Celebration and joy during good times. Continuous learning. Diverse networks expose you to new ideas, perspectives, and opportunities. Different viewpoints on challenges and opportunities. Knowledge and expertise outside your immediate field. Inspiration and motivation from others' journeys. Feedback and insights about your own growth. Access to resources and learning opportunities. Life satisfaction. Ultimately, strong relationships are one of the most reliable predictors of life satisfaction and happiness. Sense of belonging and connection. Meaning and purpose through service to others. Joy and fun through shared experiences. Love and acceptance through deep relationships. Legacy through the impact you have on others. Your support network is not a luxury or a nice-to-have. It's an essential component of resilience and success. In a world that often emphasizes individual achievement and self-reliance, the people who thrive understand that we're all interdependent. Our strength comes not just from our individual capabilities, but from our connections to others who can provide what we cannot provide for ourselves. Start building your network today, not because you need something now, but because you'll inevitably need support in the future. And just as importantly, because others need what you have to offer. When we support each other, we all become more resilient, more capable, and more able to unlock our full potential. The trail may be long and challenging, but you don't have to walk it alone. Your trail angels are out there, ready to provide exactly the support you need at exactly the right moment. And you have the opportunity to be someone else's trail angel, providing the encouragement, resources, or perspective that helps them reach their destination. Connect, support, thrive, together. Chapter 5, Purpose-Driven Living, Finding Meaning in Adversity. When Viktor Frankl was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps during World War II, he lost everything most people consider essential for happiness. His freedom, his family, his profession, his possessions, even his name, replaced by a number tattooed on his arm. Yet in the midst of unimaginable suffering, Frankl made a discovery that would revolutionize psychology and help millions of people find resilience in their darkest moments. He observed that prisoners who survived weren't necessarily the physically strongest or most privileged. The survivors were those who maintained a sense of meaning and purpose, even in the most brutal circumstances. Some found meaning in the hope of reuniting with loved ones. Others drew purpose from their determination to bear witness to what they experienced. Still others found meaning in small acts of compassion toward fellow prisoners. Frankl himself found meaning in his vision of rebuilding his life's work, a manuscript that had been confiscated when he was imprisoned. He spent hours mentally reconstructing his theories about human motivation, seeing his imprisonment as an opportunity to test and refine his ideas about the human search for meaning. This sense of purpose sustained him through experiences that broke many others. After the war, Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning, sharing his insight that we can endure almost any suffering if we can find meaning in it. His experience illustrates one of the most powerful principles of resilience. Purpose transforms pain from meaningless suffering into meaningful sacrifice, from random cruelty into purposeful growth. The psychology of purpose. Purpose is more than just having goals or ambitions. It's a deep sense that your life has meaning and direction, that you're contributing to something larger than yourself, and that your existence makes a positive difference in the world. Purpose provides what psychologists call eudaimonic well-being, the happiness that comes from living authentically and meaningfully, rather than just seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. Research shows that people with a strong sense of purpose experience greater resilience during adversity, better physical health and longevity, lower rates of depression and anxiety, increased motivation and persistence, higher life satisfaction and fulfillment, better immune function and stress response, greater capacity for post-traumatic growth. Purpose acts as a psychological anchor during storms, providing stability when everything else feels chaotic. It gives context to suffering, helping you understand how current challenges fit into your larger life story. Most importantly, purpose transforms you from a victim of circumstances into an agent of meaning-making. Understanding different types of purpose. Purpose isn't one size fits all. Different people find meaning through different avenues, and your sense of purpose may evolve throughout your life. Service to others. Many people find deep meaning in contributing to others' well-being, whether through professional helping roles, volunteer work, parenting, mentoring, or community involvement. This type of purpose is often called prosocial purpose and is associated with particularly strong resilience benefits. Creative expression artists, writers, musicians, and other creators often find purpose in bringing beauty, truth, or innovation into the world. Creative purpose can be deeply sustaining during difficult times, as the act of creation itself becomes a form of meaning-making. Knowledge and discovery scientists, researchers, teachers, and lifelong learners may find purpose in advancing human understanding or sharing knowledge with others. This intellectual purpose can provide meaning even when specific projects fail or careers face setbacks. Legacy building: some people find purpose in building something that will outlast their own lives, whether that's a business, a family tradition, an institution, or a body of work that benefits future generations. Personal growth and self-actualization: the journey of becoming your fullest, most authentic self, can itself be a source of deep purpose. This includes overcoming personal challenges, developing your potential, and living according to your deepest values. Spiritual connection: many people find purpose through connection to something transcendent, whether through traditional religion, nature spirituality, or other forms of spiritual practice and belief. Justice and social change: working to create a more just, equitable, or sustainable world provides powerful purpose for many people, especially during times when systems and institutions seem broken or unfair. Finding your purpose during adversity: difficult times often clarify what truly matters to you, making them powerful opportunities for discovering or refining your sense of purpose. Here's how to navigate this process. Look for the silver lining lessons. Ask yourself what your current challenges are teaching you about life, relationships, resilience, or what you value most. Often, our greatest difficulties become our greatest teachers, providing insights that can benefit both ourselves and others. Consider Maria, who went through a devastating divorce after 20 years of marriage. Initially, she felt her life had lost all meaning. But as she navigated the challenges of starting over, she discovered strengths she never knew she had and insights about healthy relationships that she'd never developed during her marriage. She eventually became a divorce coach, helping other women navigate similar transitions with greater wisdom and support than she'd had. Identify your core values under pressure. Adversity reveals what you truly value by showing what you fight hardest to protect or maintain. When everything else is stripped away, what remains most important to you? These crisis-revealed values often point toward your deepest sources of meaning. Examine your natural responses to others' suffering. How do you instinctively respond when you see others facing challenges similar to yours? Do you want to help, educate, advocate, or support them? Your natural compassionate responses often reveal purposes that align with your own experiences. Consider the growth you're experiencing. What strengths, skills, or insights are you developing through your current challenges? How might these developments enable you to contribute something unique to the world? Often, our greatest struggles prepare us for our most meaningful contributions. Explore the why me. Question constructively instead of asking, why is this happening to me, in a victim mindset. Ask, why me, from a purpose perspective. What unique combination of experiences, skills, and circumstances might equip me to handle this challenge in a way that could benefit others? The hero's journey: reframing your story. Joseph Campbell's concept of the hero's journey provides a powerful framework for finding purpose in adversity. This narrative pattern, found in stories across cultures and throughout history, describes a journey from ordinary life through crisis and transformation to return with wisdom that benefits the community. Understanding your challenges as part of a hero's journey can transform your experience from meaningless suffering to meaningful adventure. The call to adventure: your current challenge is not a cruel interruption of your real life. It's a call to grow beyond who you've been and become who you're meant to be. Every crisis contains an invitation to discover new aspects of yourself. The ordeal, the difficult middle phase of any challenge, is where the real transformation happens. This is where you develop new strengths, discover hidden resources, and learn what you're truly capable of. The ordeal isn't punishment, it's preparation. The return with wisdom, the purpose of your journey through difficulty isn't just personal transformation. It's to return to your community with wisdom, strength, or insights that can help others. Your struggles become the source of your service. This framework helps you see current difficulties not as evidence that something is wrong with your life, but as evidence that you're in the middle of an important story of growth and contribution. Building purpose-driven resilience. Purpose doesn't just make you feel better about difficulties. It actually changes how you respond to them. Purpose provides perspective when you understand how your current challenges fit into your larger life purpose. Temporary setbacks become more bearable. You can endure present difficulties because you understand their role in your bigger story. Purpose energizes action. People with strong purpose show remarkable persistence and creativity in solving problems because they're not just solving problems for themselves. They're advancing something that matters deeply to them. Purpose attracts support. Others are naturally drawn to support people who are pursuing meaningful purposes. Your sense of purpose becomes magnetic, attracting resources, opportunities, and allies. Purpose creates meaning from suffering. Perhaps most importantly, purpose transforms suffering from meaningless pain into meaningful sacrifice. You're not just enduring difficulty, you're paying the price for something valuable. Practical strategies for purpose discovery. The values clarification exercise. List your top 10 values, such as family, creativity, justice, growth, service, etc. For each value, write about how this value has shown up in your life, how your current challenges relate to this value, how living this value more fully could create meaning, what purposes might align with this value. The peak experiences analysis. Identify 3 to 5 times in your life when you felt most alive, engaged, and fulfilled. For each experience, analyze. What were you doing? Who were you serving or impacting? What skills were you using? What values were you expressing? How might you create more experiences like this? The legacy visioning process. Imagine attending your own memorial service, morbid but powerful. What would you want people to say about how you lived and what you contributed? What impact would you want to have had? Work backward from this vision to identify purposes worth pursuing now. The problems that move you. Exercise. List problems in the world that genuinely upset or motivate you. These emotional responses often point toward purposes aligned with your values and experiences. Consider, what problems do you find yourself discussing passionately? What injustices or difficulties make you angry or sad? What changes would you make if you had unlimited resources? What problems have you personally experienced that others also face? The strengths and struggles integration. Map your greatest strengths alongside your most significant struggles. Often, your unique combination of capabilities and challenges points toward purposes only you can fulfill. Your struggles give you credibility and empathy, while your strengths give you capability to contribute. Purpose evolution throughout life. Your sense of purpose isn't static. It evolves as you grow, change circumstances, and gain new experiences. Early career purpose. Young adults often find initial purpose in personal achievement, skill development, and establishing independence. This self-focused purpose is natural and necessary for building the foundation for later other focused purposes. Family and relationship purpose. Many people find deep meaning in nurturing relationships, raising children, and building strong families or communities. This relational purpose often emerges during middle adulthood. Generative purpose. As people mature, they often develop purposes focused on leaving positive legacies, mentoring others, building institutions, creating lasting value, or solving important problems. Transcendent purpose. Later in life, many people find purpose in spiritual growth, wisdom sharing, and preparing for what lies beyond their earthly existence. Understanding that purpose evolves helps you avoid getting stuck in outdated purposes and remain open to new sources of meaning as your life circumstances change. Purpose during different types of adversity. Health challenges, health crises often clarify what truly matters and can inspire purposes related to helping others facing similar health issues, advocating for better health care or research, appreciating and maximizing whatever health remains, deepening relationships and spiritual connections, living more authentically and intentionally. Career setbacks, professional difficulties can lead to purposes involving helping others navigate similar career challenges, starting businesses that solve problems you've experienced, developing new skills that serve emerging needs, creating more ethical or sustainable business practices, mentoring others in your field. Relationship losses, the end of important relationships, can inspire purposes around supporting others through similar transitions, building stronger, healthier relationships going forward, creating communities for people facing similar losses, advocating for relationship education or support services, developing deeper self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Financial difficulties, economic challenges often lead to purposes involving financial education and literacy advocacy, creating more equitable economic systems, building businesses that serve underserved populations, developing simpler, more sustainable lifestyles, helping others achieve financial independence, living your purpose daily. Having a clear sense of purpose isn't enough. You must integrate it into your daily life. Purpose-aligned goal setting ensure your goals serve your deeper purpose. Ask yourself, how does this goal advance my purpose? What would I do differently if purpose were my primary consideration? How can I pursue this goal in a way that creates meaning? Daily purpose connection. Start each day by connecting with your sense of purpose. How can I live my purpose today? What opportunities will I have to serve something larger than myself? How can I approach today's challenges as part of my larger story? Purpose-driven decision making. When facing decisions, large or small, ask, which option better serves my purpose? How do these choices align with what matters most to me? What would I choose if I were living my purpose fully? Regular purpose reflection, weekly or monthly. Reflect on how well you're living your purpose. How did I serve my purpose this week? What got in the way of purpose-driven living? How can I align my life more closely with my purpose? Overcoming purpose-related challenges. Purpose paralysis. Some people become overwhelmed trying to find the perfect purpose. Remember, your purpose can evolve and change. Multiple purposes can coexist. Small purposes are as valid as grand ones. Purpose is discovered through action, not just reflection. Purpose comparison. Avoid comparing your purpose to others. Your unique combination of experiences, skills, and circumstances points toward purposes only you can fulfill. Your purpose doesn't need to be dramatic or highly visible to be meaningful. Purpose perfectionism. You don't need to live your purpose perfectly or exclusively. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Small steps toward purposeful living are more sustainable than dramatic changes that can't be maintained. Purpose doubt. It's natural to question whether your purpose is real or important enough. Trust that any purpose that genuinely moves you and serves others has value, regardless of its scale or recognition. The ripple effects of purpose-driven living. When you live with clear purpose, the effects extend far beyond your personal resilience. Enhanced relationships. Purpose-driven people tend to have more meaningful relationships because they're focused on contribution rather than just personal benefit. Increased impact. Clear purpose leads to more focused effort, resulting in greater impact in whatever areas you choose to serve. Improved decision-making. Purpose provides a clear filter for decisions, reducing anxiety and increasing confidence in your choices. Greater resilience. Perhaps most importantly for this book's focus, purpose provides the why that helps you endure anyhow. When you know why you're facing difficulties, you can bear almost any burden. Inspiration for others. Your purposeful response to adversity inspires others facing similar challenges, creating a ripple effect of resilience and meaning-making. Viktor Frankl concluded that we cannot avoid suffering, but we can choose how to cope with it, find meaning in it, and move forward with renewed purpose. This choice, to transform suffering into meaning, is available to you regardless of your circumstances. Your current challenges are not interruptions of your real life. They're your real life, and they contain opportunities for discovering or deepening your sense of purpose. The question isn't whether you'll face difficulties, but whether you'll use those difficulties as raw material for creating meaning. Your pain has a purpose. Your struggles have significance. Your journey through adversity is preparing you to contribute something unique and valuable to the world. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and let your challenges forge you into someone who can light the way for others walking similar paths. Your purpose is calling. Answer with courage, live with intention, and transform your trials into triumphs, not just for yourself, but for everyone whose life you touch along the way. Chapter 6. Physical Resilience, the Body-Mind Connection. When Dean Karnazes ran 350 miles nonstop across Northern California, covering the distance from San Francisco to Los Angeles in just over 3 days, he wasn't just demonstrating extraordinary physical endurance. He was proving a fundamental truth about human resilience. Our physical capabilities and mental strength are inseparably connected. Every step of his journey required not just muscular endurance, but psychological grit, emotional regulation, and spiritual determination. Karnazes didn't start as a superhuman athlete. For years, he lived a sedentary corporate life, numbing stress with alcohol and unhealthy food. But when he decided to change his life, he discovered that building physical strength simultaneously built mental and emotional resilience. The discipline required for training, the mental toughness developed through pushing physical limits, and the biochemical changes from regular exercise transformed not just his body, but his entire approach to life's challenges. His story illustrates what research has consistently shown. Physical resilience and psychological resilience aren't separate phenomena. They're different aspects of the same integrated system. Your body and mind don't just communicate. They're so interconnected that it's impossible to optimize one without addressing the other. In our increasingly sedentary, digitally focused world, many people try to build mental resilience while neglecting their physical foundation. This approach is like trying to build a skyscraper on sand. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life's challenges, and its condition directly affects your ability to think clearly, regulate emotions, and maintain energy during difficult times. The science of embodied resilience. Your brain and body are in constant communication through multiple pathways: the nervous system, hormonal system, immune system, and even the gut microbiome. This communication is bidirectional. Your thoughts affect your body, and your body's condition affects your thoughts and emotions. When you're physically fit and healthy, you have better stress hormone regulation, lower baseline cortisol, faster recovery from stress spikes, improved cognitive function, better memory, focus, and decision-making, enhanced emotional regulation, more stable moods, better anxiety management, stronger immune system, better resistance to illness and faster recovery, higher energy levels, more capacity to handle demanding situations, better sleep quality, crucial for stress recovery and emotional processing, increased confidence, both from appearance changes and proven physical capability. Conversely, when you're physically depleted, even minor stressors can feel overwhelming. Poor fitness, inadequate sleep, and nutritional deficiencies create a cascade of biological vulnerabilities that undermine your psychological resilience. The 4 pillars of physical resilience. Physical resilience rests on 4 interconnected pillars, each requiring attention for optimal functioning. Cardiovascular fitness. Your energy engine, your cardiovascular system, delivers oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body, including your brain. Better cardiovascular fitness means more efficient energy production, better stress recovery, improved cognitive function, enhanced emotional stability, greater physical endurance for demanding situations. You don't need to be a marathon runner to gain these benefits. Even moderate cardiovascular exercise, like brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, provides significant resilience benefits when done consistently. Strength and muscular endurance. Your physical foundation, muscular strength, affects more than just your ability to lift heavy objects. Strong muscles support better posture, reducing physical stress. Improve balance and reduce injury risk. Boost metabolism and energy levels. Build confidence and sense of capability. Create a biological environment that supports mental toughness. Resistance training, bodyweight exercises, and functional movement patterns all contribute to this foundation. Flexibility and mobility. Your adaptation capacity, physical flexibility, mirrors mental flexibility. Maintaining good mobility reduces physical tension that can amplify stress. Improves circulation and nervous system function. Prevents injuries that could derail your resilience efforts. Creates body awareness that supports emotional regulation. Provides relaxation and stress relief. Regular stretching, yoga, mobility work, and movement variety all support this pillar. Recovery and regeneration. Your renewal system, your body's ability to recover from stress, whether physical, mental, or emotional, determines your long-term resilience capacity. This includes sleep quality and quantity, stress hormone regulation, tissue repair and healing, energy restoration, mental and emotional processing. Recovery isn't passive rest. It's active regeneration that requires intentional practices. Building cardiovascular resilience. Your cardiovascular system is your body's logistics network, and its efficiency affects every aspect of your resilience. Here's how to build this foundation. Progressive aerobic development. Start where you are and gradually increase intensity and duration. Begin with 15 to 20 minutes of moderate activity. Increase duration by 5 minutes every 2 weeks. Add intensity gradually. You should be able to hold a conversation during moderate exercise. Aim for 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week. Include at least 2 sessions of higher intensity work as you progress. Heart rate variability training. Heart rate variability, HRV, the variation in time between heartbeats, is a key marker of resilience. Higher HRV indicates better stress recovery and autonomic nervous system balance. Practice coherent breathing, 5 to 6 breaths per minute. Use HRV monitoring devices to track progress. Include both steady state and interval training. Prioritize recovery between intense sessions. Cross-training benefits. Variety in cardiovascular exercise prevents overuse injuries and maintains engagement. Walking and hiking, accessible, low impact, can be done anywhere. Swimming, full body, low impact, meditative. Cycling, efficient, can be transportation, varying intensities. Dancing, fun, social, coordination benefits. Sports, competitive element, skill development, social connection. The minimum effective dose. You don't need to train like an athlete to gain resilience benefits. Research shows significant benefits from 20 to 30 minutes of moderate activity, 5 days per week. 2 sessions of higher intensity intervals per week. 1 longer, lower intensity session per week. Daily movement of any kind, even just 5 to 10 minutes. Developing functional strength. Strength training for resilience isn't about bodybuilding. It's about building functional capacity that supports you through life's physical and mental demands. Compound movement patterns focus on exercises that train multiple muscle groups and movement patterns. Squatting, sitting, standing, lifting from floor. Pushing objects, getting up from ground. Pulling, lifting, climbing, maintaining posture. Carrying, groceries, luggage, children. Rotating, sports, daily activities, injury prevention. Progressive overload. Gradually increase the challenge to continue building strength. Start with bodyweight exercises. Add resistance gradually, bands, weights, machines. Increase repetitions before increasing weight. Focus on proper form over heavy weight. Include both strength and endurance repetition ranges. Functional fitness integration makes strength training practical and applicable to daily life. Practice lifting objects from various heights and positions. Include unilateral, single arm / leg exercises. Train in multiple planes of motion. Include balance and stability challenges. Combine strength with mobility work. Mental strength crossover. Strength training builds mental resilience through delayed gratification. Results take time. Discomfort tolerance. Pushing through challenging sets. Discipline development. Consistent training schedules. Goal achievement. Measurable progress. Confidence building. Proven physical capability. Mobility and flexibility for resilience. Physical flexibility supports mental flexibility, and both are essential for adapting to life's challenges. Daily mobility practice. Incorporate movement throughout your day. Morning mobility routine to prepare for the day. Movement breaks every 30 to 60 minutes during sedentary work. Post-workout stretching and mobility work. Evening relaxation and tension release. Weekend longer sessions for deeper work. Stress-specific stretching target areas where stress typically accumulates. Neck and shoulders from computer work and stress tension. Hip flexors from prolonged sitting. Thoracic spine for posture and breathing. Hamstrings and calves for circulation and lower back health. Wrists and forearms for computer work and daily activities. Mind-body integration. Use flexibility work as opportunity for mental training. Practice breathing techniques during stretching. Use stretching time for meditation or reflection. Focus on body awareness and present moment attention. Practice acceptance of discomfort without forcing progress. Cultivate patience with gradual improvement. Yoga and movement arts structure practices that combine flexibility, strength, and mindfulness. Hatha yoga for strength and flexibility. Restorative yoga for relaxation and recovery. Vinyasa flow for movement integration. Tai Chi for balance and coordination. Pilates for core strength and body awareness. Optimizing recovery and regeneration. Recovery is where adaptation happens. Without adequate recovery, your resilience efforts become counterproductive. Sleep optimization. Sleep is your primary recovery mechanism. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Maintain consistent sleep and wake times. Create a dark, cool, quiet sleep environment. Limit screens 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Use relaxation techniques to transition to sleep. Address sleep disorders, sleep apnea, insomnia, professionally. Active recovery practices. Recovery doesn't mean complete inactivity. Light movement on rest days, walking, gentle yoga, foam rolling, and self-massage for muscle recovery. Contrast showers, alternating hot and cold for circulation. Meditation and breathing exercises for nervous system recovery. Nature exposure for stress reduction and vitamin D. Stress management integration. Physical recovery supports psychological stress recovery. Schedule recovery time, just like workout time. Use physical relaxation techniques, progressive muscle relaxation. Practice stress-reducing activities, massage, baths, nature time. Maintain social connections that support recovery. Engage in hobbies and activities that bring joy. Periodization and planning. Structure your physical training to include planned recovery. Include easy weeks after challenging training periods. Plan complete rest days each week. Schedule recovery activities as intentionally as training. Listen to your body's fatigue signals. Adjust training based on life stress levels. Nutrition for resilience. Your body is literally built from what you eat, and your nutritional choices directly affect your resilience capacity. Stable energy foundation. Maintains steady blood sugar to support consistent energy and mood. Include protein with every meal and snack. Choose complex carbohydrates over simple sugars. Eat regular meals rather than long periods without food. Stay adequately hydrated throughout the day. Limit caffeine and alcohol, which can disrupt sleep and recovery. Anti-inflammatory nutrition. Chronic inflammation undermines resilience and recovery. Include omega-3 fatty acids, fish, nuts, seeds. Eat a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables. Include anti-inflammatory spices, turmeric, ginger. Limit processed foods and added sugars. Choose whole foods over packaged alternatives. Stress-supporting nutrients. Certain nutrients become depleted during stress and need replacement. B vitamins for nervous system function. Vitamin D for immune function and mood. Magnesium for muscle relaxation and sleep. Vitamin C for immune support and stress recovery. Zinc for immune function and wound healing. Practical implementation. Make nutrition changes sustainable. Focus on adding healthy foods rather than restricting. Prepare meals in advance when possible. Keep healthy snacks easily available. Stay hydrated with water throughout the day. Allow flexibility for social situations and enjoyment. Exercise as stress inoculation. Regular physical challenge provides stress inoculation. Controlled stress that builds your capacity to handle uncontrolled stress. Controlled discomfort training exercise teaches you to function effectively while uncomfortable. Push through fatigue during workouts. Maintain technique under physical stress. Practice breathing control during exertion. Stay focused despite physical discomfort. Complete workouts even when motivation is low. Confidence through capability. Physical achievements build confidence that transfers to other challenges. Set and achieve fitness goals. Track progress and celebrate improvements. Challenge yourself with new physical activities. Join group fitness for social support and accountability. Use physical accomplishments as evidence of your capability. Stress hormone regulation. Regular exercise optimizes your stress response system. Lowers baseline stress hormone levels. Improves stress hormone clearance after stressful events. Increases resilience to future stressors. Provides healthy outlet for stress-induced energy. Improves sleep quality for better stress recovery. Integrating physical and mental training. The most effective resilience training integrates physical and mental challenges. Mindful movement. Combine physical exercise with mindfulness practice. Focus on breath during cardio exercise. Practice present moment awareness during strength training. Use walking or running for moving meditation. Pay attention to body sensations during flexibility work. Cultivate gratitude for your body's capabilities. Visualization and mental rehearsal. Use physical training time for mental training. Visualize successful performance during rest periods. Practice positive self-talk during challenging workouts. Use exercise time to mentally rehearse handling difficult situations. Combine physical goals with mental resilience goals. Reflect on life lessons learned through physical challenges. Breath work integration. Use exercise as opportunity to practice breathing techniques. Practice diaphragmatic breathing during warm-ups. Use breathing patterns to manage exercise intensity. Practice breath control during challenging exercises. Use cool-down time for relaxation breathing. Apply exercise breathing techniques to daily stress. Adapting physical resilience throughout life. Your physical resilience approach must evolve as your body and circumstances change. Age-appropriate modifications adjust your approach based on life stage. Young adults build foundation, explore activities, develop habits. Middle age, maintain function, prevent decline, manage increased responsibilities. Older adults, preserve independence, maintain mobility, adapt to limitations. Injury and limitation adaptations, work with your body's current capabilities. Modify exercises to accommodate limitations. Focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. Use adaptive equipment when necessary. Seek professional guidance for safe modifications. Remember that some exercise is always better than none. Life circumstance flexibility. Adapt your physical resilience practice to changing life demands. Busy periods. Focus on minimum effective dose. Travel. Develop portable exercise routines. Stress periods. Prioritize recovery and gentle movement. Limited resources. Use bodyweight and outdoor activities. Family demands. Include family and active pursuits. The compound benefits of physical resilience. Building physical resilience creates cascading benefits throughout your life. Enhanced mental performance. Regular exercise improves cognitive function, memory, focus, and decision-making capacity, all crucial for navigating challenges effectively. Emotional regulation. Physical fitness provides better emotional stability, stress management, and mood regulation through optimized brain chemistry and hormone balance. Increased life satisfaction. The confidence, energy, and capability that come from physical fitness contribute significantly to overall life satisfaction and sense of well-being. Greater longevity and health span. Physical resilience not only helps you handle current challenges, but also increases your likelihood of maintaining independence and vitality throughout a longer, healthier life. Social and professional benefits. The discipline, confidence, and energy that come from physical fitness often translate into better relationships and professional performance. Your body is not separate from your mind. It's the foundation that supports every other aspect of your resilience. When you invest in your physical well-being, you're not just building muscle or cardiovascular capacity. You're building the biological foundation that will support you through every challenge life presents. Start where you are, with what you have, doing what you can. Your future resilient self will thank you for every step you take, every weight you lift, every stretch you hold, and every night of quality sleep you prioritize. Your body is your partner in resilience. Treat it with the respect and care it deserves, and it will carry you through whatever challenges lie ahead. The strongest people aren't necessarily those who never fall down. They're those who have built the physical and mental strength to get back up again and again with grace and power. Chapter 7. Learning from setbacks, transforming failure into fuel. When James Dyson created his first prototype for a revolutionary new vacuum cleaner in 1979, he was confident he had solved a major problem with existing designs. But when he approached manufacturers with his invention, he was rejected. Not once, not 10 times, but 5,126 times. For 15 years, he heard no from every major appliance company, faced financial struggles that nearly bankrupted his family, and endured the skepticism of friends and colleagues who thought he was wasting his life on an impossible dream. Most people would have given up after a dozen rejections, maybe 100. But Dyson had learned something that separates resilient people from those who are defeated by setbacks. He understood that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to success. Each rejection taught him something new about his design, his market, or his approach. Each setback refined his invention and strengthened his resolve. When Dyson finally launched his own company and brought his Cyclone vacuum to market, it became the fastest-selling vacuum in history. Today, Dyson is a billionaire whose company has revolutionized multiple industries. But his success isn't measured by the fact that he eventually succeeded. It's measured by his ability to transform 5,126 failures into fuel for an extraordinary achievement. Dyson's story illustrates one of the most crucial skills for building resilience: the ability to extract value from setbacks, to learn from failures, and to use disappointments as raw material for growth. In a world where failure is often stigmatized and setbacks are seen as evidence of inadequacy, resilient people have discovered a secret. Their greatest failures often become their greatest teachers, and their biggest setbacks often precede their biggest breakthroughs. Redefining failure, from enemy to teacher. The first step in learning from setbacks is fundamentally changing your relationship with failure itself. Most people are raised to view failure as something to avoid at all costs, as evidence of personal inadequacy, or as a permanent verdict on their capabilities. This perspective makes failure devastating because it attacks your identity rather than simply providing information about your approach. Resilient people understand that failure is not a character flaw, it's data. It's information about what doesn't work, feedback about your current approach, and guidance toward better strategies. When you reframe failure from identity attack to information gathering, it loses its power to devastate you and gains power to educate you. Consider these perspective shifts. From "I am a failure" to "that approach failed." From "I'm not good enough" to "I need to develop different skills." From "this proves I can't do it" to "this shows me what I need to learn." From "I should give up" to "I need to try a different strategy." From "this is catastrophic" to "this is educational." This reframing isn't about minimizing the pain of setbacks or pretending they don't matter. Disappointment, frustration, and even grief over failures are natural and healthy responses. The goal is to process these emotions while maintaining the perspective that setbacks are temporary events, not permanent verdicts. The anatomy of a learning mindset. People who successfully learn from setbacks share certain mental frameworks that enable them to extract value from difficult experiences. Curiosity over judgment. Instead of immediately judging failures as bad or themselves as inadequate, learning-oriented people approach setbacks with curiosity. They ask questions like, what exactly happened here? What factors contributed to this outcome? What can I learn from this experience? How might I approach this differently next time? What unexpected insights does this failure provide? Process focus over outcome obsession. While outcomes matter, learning-focused people pay equal attention to the process that led to those outcomes. They understand that you can have a good process with a poor outcome due to factors beyond your control, or a poor process with a good outcome due to luck. By focusing on process, they can improve their approach regardless of short-term results. Growth orientation over performance orientation. Performance-oriented people see setbacks as threats to their image or self-concept. Growth-oriented people see setbacks as opportunities to develop new capabilities. This difference in orientation fundamentally changes how setbacks are experienced and what actions are taken in response. Long-term perspective over short-term reactivity. Learning from setbacks requires the ability to see beyond immediate disappointment to long-term development. People with long-term perspective understand that temporary failures often contribute to eventual success, while short-term victories without learning may lead to eventual failure. The failure analysis framework. To systematically extract learning from setbacks, use this structured approach. Step 1. Emotional processing. Before analyzing what went wrong, acknowledge and process your emotional response to the setback. This isn't weakness, it's emotional intelligence. You can't think clearly about lessons while you're overwhelmed by emotions. Allow yourself to feel disappointed, frustrated, or sad. Talk to supportive people about your emotional experience. Use physical activity, creative expression, or other healthy outlets for emotional processing. Practice self-compassion rather than self-criticism. Give yourself time to process before jumping into analysis. Step 2. Objective assessment. Once you've processed the initial emotional impact, examine what actually happened as objectively as possible. What specific outcome occurred? What factors contributed to this outcome? Which factors were within your control and which weren't? What assumptions did you make that proved incorrect? What information was missing that might have changed your approach? How did your preparation, execution, and follow-through contribute to the outcome? Step 3. Pattern recognition. Look for patterns in your setbacks to identify recurring themes or systematic issues. Have you failed in similar ways before? Are there particular types of challenges that consistently trip you up? Do your failures cluster around specific skills, knowledge areas, or situations? What personal tendencies or blind spots might be contributing to repeated setbacks? Step 4. Learning extraction. Identify specific, actionable lessons from the experience. What new knowledge did this experience provide? What skills do you need to develop based on this setback? What approaches should you try differently next time? What resources or support do you need that you didn't have? What early warning signs should you watch for in the future? Step 5. Implementation planning. Transform insights into action by creating specific plans for applying what you've learned. How will you develop the skills or knowledge you've identified as lacking? What systems or processes will you put in place to avoid similar failures? How will you test new approaches on a small scale before full implementation? What accountability measures will ensure you actually apply these lessons? Common failure categories and their lessons. Different types of failures offer different types of learning opportunities. Preparation failures. When setbacks result from inadequate preparation, the lessons typically involve better research and planning processes, more thorough skill development before attempting challenges, Improved resource allocation and timeline management. Better understanding of what preparation actually requires. Systems for ensuring consistent preparation quality. Sarah's story illustrates this perfectly. When her presentation to the board of directors was a disaster, her initial reaction was to blame the hostile audience and unfair questions. But honest analysis revealed that she had spent only 2 hours preparing for what she knew was a career-defining moment. The failure taught her that some opportunities require much more preparation than others, and that her usual wing-it approach wasn't sufficient for high-stakes situations. Execution failures when you're well-prepared, but execute poorly. Lessons often involve stress management and performance under pressure. Practice in realistic conditions similar to actual performance situations. Backup plans and contingency thinking. Recovery strategies when things don't go according to plan. Mental rehearsal and visualization techniques. Communication failures. Many setbacks result from miscommunication, misunderstanding, or failure to align with others. Listening skills and empathy development. Clarity in expressing ideas and expectations. Feedback seeking and confirmation of understanding. Relationship building and trust development. Conflict resolution and difficult conversation navigation. Timing failures. Sometimes good ideas fail because of poor timing. Market research and trend analysis. Patience and strategic waiting. Flexibility in timing and sequencing. Understanding of external factors and cycles. Ability to adapt plans based on changing conditions. Resource failures. Setbacks often reveal inadequate resources, financial, human, knowledge, or time. Better resource planning and allocation. Building reserves and backup resources. Partnership and collaboration strategies. Efficiency improvements and waste elimination. Understanding of true resource requirements. Strategic failures when the fundamental approach or strategy is flawed. Systems thinking and big-picture analysis. Assumption testing and validation. Scenario planning and risk assessment. Feedback loops and course correction mechanisms. Strategic flexibility and pivoting capabilities. The neuroscience of learning from failure. Understanding what happens in your brain during and after setbacks can help you optimize your learning process. The threat response when you experience failure. Your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, activates, releasing stress hormones that can impair learning and memory formation. This is why immediate post-failure analysis is often ineffective. Your brain is in survival mode, not learning mode. The recovery window as stress hormones clear your system, usually within 24 to 48 hours. Your brain becomes more capable of objective analysis and insight formation. This is why waiting a day or two before conducting failure analysis often yields better results. Neuroplasticity and growth. When you actively extract lessons from failures, you're literally rewiring your brain to handle similar situations more effectively in the future. Each failure that results in learning strengthens neural pathways that support better decision-making and problem-solving. Memory consolidation. The process of analyzing failures and identifying lessons helps consolidate the experience into long-term memory in a way that makes the learning accessible for future situations. Without this deliberate analysis, the emotional impact of failure often overshadows the learning potential. Transforming specific types of setbacks. Career setbacks. Job loss, missed promotions, failed projects, or career transitions offer opportunities to learn about industry trends and market demands, skill gaps and development needs, professional relationship building, personal branding and communication, adaptability and resilience in professional contexts. Marcus, from our introduction, exemplifies this transformation. His job loss forced him to confront how rapidly his industry was changing and how his skills had become outdated. Instead of just looking for another similar job, he used the setback to completely retool his expertise, ultimately building a more successful career than he had before. Relationship setbacks. Breakups, friendship conflicts, family tensions, or social rejection can teach valuable lessons about communication patterns and styles, boundary setting and maintenance, emotional regulation and empathy, compatibility factors and relationship selection, personal growth and self-awareness, financial setbacks, investment losses, business failures, debt accumulation, or income reduction offer lessons about risk assessment and management, financial planning and budgeting, market dynamics and economic cycles, emotional decision-making versus rational analysis, diversification and backup planning, health setbacks, illness, injury, or wellness challenges can provide insights about lifestyle factors and health behaviors, stress management and self-care, medical advocacy and healthcare navigation, priorities and life balance, support systems and asking for help, creative setbacks, rejected manuscripts, failed artistic projects, or creative blocks offer opportunities to learn about craft development and skill building, market understanding and audience needs, persistence and revision processes, creative risk-taking and experimentation, business aspects of creative work, building a learning culture. If you're in a position to influence others as a parent, manager, teacher, or leader, you can help create environments where people learn from setbacks rather than being devastated by them. Psychological safety: create environments where people feel safe to fail, experiment, and share their mistakes. Acknowledge your own failures and what you learned from them. Respond to others' failures with curiosity rather than blame. Celebrate learning and growth, not just success. Provide support during difficult learning experiences. Focus on future improvement rather than past mistakes. Learning processes: establish systematic approaches for extracting learning from setbacks. Regular retrospectives and post-mortem analyses. Sharing of lessons learned across teams or families. Documentation of insights and best practices. Training in failure analysis and learning techniques. Recognition for effective learning from mistakes. Growth mindset reinforcement: consistently reinforce the belief that abilities can be developed through effort and learning. Praise effort and learning process, not just outcomes. Emphasize growth and improvement over innate talent. Share stories of people who succeeded after initial failures. Provide opportunities for skill development and learning. Model continuous learning and improvement yourself. Advanced learning techniques. Pre-mortem analysis: before starting important projects or initiatives, conduct a pre-mortem. Imagine the project has failed and work backward to identify potential failure points and prevention strategies. This proactive approach helps you learn from potential failures before they occur. Failure parties: some organizations and individuals hold failure parties, where people share their failures and the lessons learned in a celebration format. This removes stigma from failure and creates community around learning and growth. Failure resumes: create a failure resume that lists your significant setbacks alongside the lessons learned from each. This helps you see the value in your difficult experiences and provides a resource for helping others facing similar challenges. Learning journals: maintain a regular journal focused specifically on lessons learned from both successes and failures. This practice helps you become more conscious of learning opportunities and creates a valuable reference for future challenges. Mentorship and teaching: one of the best ways to solidify learning from failures is to help others avoid similar mistakes or navigate similar challenges. Teaching others forces you to articulate your lessons clearly and helps ensure the learning sticks. Overcoming learning barriers. Several common barriers can prevent people from effectively learning from setbacks. Ego protection: the desire to protect your self-image can prevent honest analysis of failures. Combat this by separating your worth as a person from your performance in specific situations. Focusing on specific behaviors and approaches rather than global character judgments. Remembering that everyone fails, and learning from failure is what separates successful people from others. Seeking support from people who care about you regardless of your achievements. Analysis paralysis: some people get stuck in endless analysis without moving to action. Prevent this by setting time limits for failure analysis. Focusing on actionable insights rather than complete understanding. Taking small experimental steps based on initial learning. remembering that you'll have more opportunities to learn and adjust. Blame and victimhood, focusing on external factors and blame, prevents learning about what you can control differently. Address this by acknowledging external factors without letting them become excuses, looking for your contribution to outcomes, even when others also contributed, focusing on what you can learn and control going forward, taking responsibility for your response to circumstances, even when you didn't cause them. Perfectionism, the belief that failure represents inadequacy, can prevent the experimentation necessary for learning and growth. Counter perfectionism by viewing failure as information rather than judgment, setting learning goals alongside performance goals, celebrating effort and growth, not just results, remembering that failure is a necessary part of mastery in any domain. The compound benefits of learning from setbacks. When you master the ability to learn from failures, you gain several compound advantages. Accelerated growth: people who learn effectively from setbacks improve faster than those who only learn from successes, because failures often provide more specific and actionable information about needed improvements. Reduced fear of failure: when you know you can extract value from any outcome, you become more willing to take calculated risks and attempt challenging goals. This leads to more opportunities and greater achievements over time. Improved decision-making: your collection of lessons learned from failures becomes a valuable database for making better decisions in similar future situations. Enhanced resilience: each setback you successfully learn from builds confidence in your ability to handle future challenges and extract value from difficult experiences. Greater innovation: people who aren't afraid of failure are more likely to experiment, innovate, and try novel approaches that could lead to breakthrough results. Leadership development: the ability to fail gracefully, learn quickly, and apply insights effectively makes you a more effective leader and mentor to others. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 1,000 times while inventing the light bulb. He found 1,000 ways that didn't work. This perspective transformed every failure into a step forward rather than a step backward. Each setback eliminated one approach and brought him closer to the solution. Your failures are not evidence of your inadequacy. They're proof that you're pushing boundaries, taking risks, and attempting things that matter. The question isn't whether you'll experience setbacks. You will, but whether you'll transform those setbacks into stepping stones toward your goals. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person has a collection of failures that taught them what they needed to know to succeed. Your setbacks are not interruptions of your success story. They're essential chapters in it. The fuel for your greatest achievements may well be found in the ashes of your greatest failures. Learn to mine those ashes for gold, and you'll never experience a truly wasted setback again. Chapter 8. Stress Mastery: Managing Pressure Like a Pro. Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger had just 208 seconds to save 155 lives. When both engines of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 were disabled by a bird strike shortly after takeoff from LaGuardia Airport, he faced a situation no pilot ever wants to encounter: a powerless aircraft over one of the most densely populated areas in the world, with no runway within reach. In those 3 minutes and 28 seconds, Sully had to assess multiple landing options, coordinate with air traffic control, manage his crew, prepare passengers for impact, and execute one of the most difficult maneuvers in aviation: a water landing in the Hudson River. Under pressure that would overwhelm most people, he remained calm, focused, and effective, ultimately saving every life on board. What enabled Sully to perform so magnificently under such extreme pressure wasn't the absence of stress. It was his mastery of stress. Through decades of training, experience, and intentional preparation, he had developed the ability to function effectively under pressure, to think clearly when stakes were highest, and to access his best capabilities when they were needed most. Sully's story illustrates a crucial truth about resilience. The goal isn't to eliminate stress from your life. It's to develop the skills to perform your best under pressure. Stress, in appropriate doses, is actually beneficial. It sharpens focus, increases energy, and enhances performance. The problem isn't stress itself. It's unmanaged, chronic, or overwhelming stress that exceeds your capacity to handle it effectively. Understanding stress, friend or foe. Stress gets a bad reputation, but it's actually one of your body's most sophisticated survival mechanisms. When you perceive a challenge or threat, your stress response system activates, releasing hormones that increase heart rate and blood pressure to deliver more oxygen to muscles and brain. Release glucose for immediate energy. Sharpen focus and attention. Enhance memory formation for important experiences. Boost immune function temporarily. Increase pain tolerance. This response, often called fight or flight, evolved to help humans handle physical dangers like predators or natural disasters. In these situations, the stress response literally saves lives by providing the energy and focus needed to escape danger or fight effectively. The challenge in modern life is that your stress response system can't distinguish between a charging lion and a demanding deadline, between a physical threat and a difficult conversation with your boss. Your body responds to psychological stressors with the same physiological intensity it would use for life-threatening emergencies. This mismatch creates several problems. Chronic activation of stress hormones damages your health over time. The physical energy mobilized by stress has no outlet in sedentary situations. Your stress response can be triggered by thoughts about future events or past experiences. Modern stressors often can't be resolved quickly, leading to prolonged activation. The stress mastery mindset. The first step in mastering stress is changing your relationship with it. Research by Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal reveals that your beliefs about stress significantly impact how stress affects you. Stress as enhancement versus stress as enemy. People who view stress as helpful and energizing experience better performance under pressure, improved cardiovascular response to stress, faster recovery after stressful events, less negative health impact from chronic stress, greater resilience and growth from challenging experiences. People who view stress as harmful and threatening experience, impaired performance under pressure, more damaging cardiovascular responses, slower recovery and more lingering effects, greater negative health impact, more trauma and less growth from difficulties. Stress reappraisal techniques transform your stress experience by reframing its meaning. My heart is racing because my body is preparing me to perform at my best. This nervous energy is excitement about the opportunity ahead. My stress response is giving me the focus and energy I need to handle this challenge. This pressure means I'm doing something that matters to me. My body is mobilizing resources to help me succeed. The physiology of optimal performance. Understanding what happens in your body during stress helps you work with your stress response rather than against it. The Yerkes-Dodson law. This principle shows that performance increases with stress up to an optimal point, then decreases as stress becomes excessive. Your goal is to find and maintain your optimal stress level, enough to enhance performance without becoming overwhelming. Different tasks have different optimal stress levels. Simple, well-practiced tasks perform best with higher stress levels. Complex, creative, or new tasks perform best with moderate stress levels. Learning and memory formation work best with low to moderate stress. The window of tolerance. Everyone has a window of tolerance, a zone of arousal where you can think clearly, access your skills, and respond effectively. Stress mastery involves recognizing when you're moving outside your window, having techniques to return to your optimal zone, gradually expanding your window through practice and conditioning, knowing your personal signs of approaching your limits. Stress response phases. Understanding the phases of stress response helps you manage each stage effectively. Alarm phase. Initial activation of stress response, seconds to minutes. Resistance phase. Sustained activation and adaptation, minutes to hours. Recovery phase. Return to baseline, hours to days. Exhaustion phase. Depletion from prolonged stress, days to months. Stress mastery focuses on optimizing phases 1 to 2 and ensuring adequate time in phase 3 to prevent phase 4. Immediate stress management techniques. When facing acute stress, these techniques can help you maintain optimal performance. Breathing techniques for stress regulation. Your breath is the most accessible tool for stress management. Box breathing, used by Navy SEALs. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Repeat 4 to 8 cycles. Physiological sigh, rapid stress relief. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Take a second, smaller inhale on top of the first. Long, slow exhale through your mouth. Repeat 1 to 3 times. Coherent breathing for sustained calm. Breathe in and out through your nose. Make inhales and exhales equal length, 5 to 6 seconds each. Continue for 5 to 10 minutes. Cognitive reframing under pressure. Quickly shift your mental state with these thought patterns. This challenge is an opportunity to show what I'm capable of. I've handled difficult situations before, and I can handle this one. My preparation has equipped me for this moment. I can learn something valuable from this experience. This temporary discomfort is the price of growth. Physical tension release. Use your body to regulate your nervous system. Progressive muscle relaxation. Tense and release muscle groups. Shoulder rolls and neck stretches. Gentle movement or walking. Quick physical exercise, jumping jacks, push-ups. Self-massage of temples, neck or hands. Grounding techniques connect with the present moment to reduce anxiety. 5-4-3-2-1 technique. 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. Feel your feet on the ground. Focus on your breath. Hold a physical object and notice its texture, temperature, weight. Name 3 things you're grateful for in this moment. Building long-term stress resilience. While immediate techniques help you manage stress in the moment, building long-term resilience requires systematic conditioning. Stress inoculation training. Gradually expose yourself to manageable stress to build your capacity. Cold exposure, cold showers, ice baths. Intense exercise that pushes your limits. Public speaking or performance opportunities. Learning challenging new skills. Controlled risk-taking and adventure activities. The key is ensuring the stress is time-limited, with clear beginning and end. Controllable, you can stop or modify if needed. Meaningful, connected to your goals or values. Progressive, gradually increasing in intensity. Regular recovery practices. Building stress resilience requires intentional recovery. Daily meditation or mindfulness practice. Regular exercise that you enjoy. Adequate sleep, 7 to 9 hours for most adults. Social connection and relationship nurturing. Hobbies and activities that bring joy. Time in nature. Creative expression. Lifestyle design for stress management. Structure your life to minimize unnecessary stress and maximize your capacity to handle necessary stress. Prioritize tasks and commitments ruthlessly. Build margins and buffers into your schedule. Create systems and routines that reduce decision fatigue. Delegate or eliminate non-essential responsibilities. Maintain financial reserves for unexpected challenges. Cultivate multiple sources of meaning and identity. Domain-specific stress mastery. Different life areas require specialized stress management approaches. Performance stress, work, sports, creative performance. Develop pre-performance routines that create optimal mental state. Practice visualization and mental rehearsal. Focus on process goals rather than outcome goals. Use positive self-talk and affirmations. Create contingency plans for when things don't go as expected. When Sarah had to give that crucial presentation to the board of directors, she used a pre-performance routine she developed. 10 minutes of breathing exercises, visualization of successful presentation, review of key points, and positive self-talk. This routine helped her channel her nervous energy into focused performance. Interpersonal stress, conflict, difficult conversations, social situations. Prepare for difficult conversations with clear objectives and boundaries. Practice empathy and perspective taking. Use I statements to express your needs without attacking others. Take breaks during heated discussions to regulate emotions. Focus on finding solutions rather than being right. Financial stress. Create emergency funds to provide security. Develop multiple income streams when possible. Practice gratitude for what you have. Focus on what you can control: spending, earning, learning. Seek professional guidance for complex financial situations. Health stress, illness, injury, medical procedures. Gather information to reduce uncertainty and fear. Build strong relationships with healthcare providers. Practice acceptance of what you cannot control. Focus on what you can do to support your health. Use your support network for practical and emotional assistance. Family stress, parenting, caregiving, relationship challenges. Communicate needs and boundaries clearly. Share responsibilities and ask for help. Take care of your own needs so you can care for others. Practice patience and compassion with family members. Seek professional support when needed. Advanced stress mastery techniques. Flow state cultivation. Flow is a state of optimal performance where stress is perfectly balanced with challenge. Match challenge level to your skill level. Set clear, achievable goals. Eliminate distractions and focus completely on the task. Seek immediate feedback on your performance. Practice activities that naturally induce flow for you. Mindfulness-based stress reduction. Systematic mindfulness training reduces stress reactivity. Daily meditation practice. Start with 5 to 10 minutes. Mindful awareness during routine activities. Body scan meditation for physical awareness. Loving kindness meditation for emotional regulation. Mindful breathing throughout the day. Cognitive behavioral techniques change your stress response by changing your thinking patterns. Identify and challenge catastrophic thinking. Practice balanced, realistic assessment of situations. Develop coping statements for high-stress situations. Use thought-stopping techniques for rumination. Focus on what you can control rather than what you can't. Energy management. Optimize your physical and mental energy to handle stress better. Align demanding tasks with your natural energy rhythms. Take regular breaks to prevent energy depletion. Use nutrition to maintain stable energy levels. Get natural light exposure to regulate circadian rhythms. Alternate between high-intensity and recovery periods. The neuroscience of stress mastery. Understanding how stress affects your brain helps you develop more effective management strategies. Prefrontal cortex versus amygdala. Chronic stress impairs your prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions like planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation, while strengthening your amygdala, responsible for threat detection and emotional reactions. Stress mastery techniques help maintain prefrontal cortex function under pressure. Neuroplasticity and regular stress management practice literally rewires your brain. Meditation increases gray matter in areas associated with emotional regulation. Exercise promotes the growth of new brain cells and connections. Stress inoculation training strengthens neural pathways for stress resilience. Recovery practices help repair damage from chronic stress. Stress hormones and memory. Moderate stress enhances memory formation, but chronic stress impairs both memory and learning. This is why manageable challenges help you grow, while overwhelming stress prevents growth and adaptation. Building organizational stress resilience. If you're in a leadership position, you can help create environments that support stress mastery. Psychological safety. Create environments where people feel safe to admit when they're feeling overwhelmed. Ask for help without appearing incompetent. Take breaks and prioritize recovery. Experiment and make mistakes while learning. Share stress management strategies with colleagues. Workload management. Help prevent stress overload through realistic goal setting and deadline management. Clear prioritization and resource allocation. Regular check-ins about workload and stress levels. Flexibility in how and when work gets done. Recognition that sustainable performance requires recovery. Stress management resources provide access to stress management training and education, mental health resources and support, physical wellness facilities and programs, flexible work arrangements, professional development that includes stress mastery skills, measuring and monitoring stress. Track your stress patterns to optimize your management strategies. Stress awareness indicators learn to recognize your early warning signs. Physical symptoms, tension, fatigue, headaches, emotional changes, irritability, anxiety, mood swings, cognitive impacts, difficulty concentrating, memory problems, behavioral changes, sleep disruption, appetite changes, social withdrawal. Stress tracking methods. Daily stress level ratings, 1 to 10 scale. Heart rate variability monitoring. Sleep quality tracking. Mood and energy level monitoring. Performance indicators in key life areas. Regular stress audits periodically assess. What are your biggest sources of stress? Which stress management techniques work best for you? How is stress affecting your health, relationships, and performance? What changes could reduce unnecessary stress in your life? How can you build greater capacity for handling necessary stress? The integration of stress mastery. Stress mastery isn't about using techniques in isolation. It's about integrating stress management into your entire approach to life. Proactive versus reactive stress management. Build daily practices that increase your stress resilience. Plan for known stressful periods with extra support and recovery. Address stress early before it becomes overwhelming. Create systems that automatically support you during stressful times. Holistic stress approach address stress through multiple channels. Physical, exercise, nutrition, sleep, breathing. Mental, reframing, mindfulness, cognitive techniques. Emotional, processing, support, self-compassion. Social, relationships, community, professional help. Spiritual, meaning, purpose, transcendent connection. Continuous learning and adaptation. Your stress management approach should evolve as you grow. Experiment with new techniques and keep what works. Adapt your strategies as your life circumstances change. Learn from your stress experiences to build better responses. Share your insights and learn from others' experiences. Captain Sully's extraordinary performance under pressure wasn't the result of natural talent. It was the culmination of years of training, preparation, and stress mastery development. He had systematically built his capacity to think clearly and act effectively under the most extreme pressure. You may never face a situation as dramatic as landing a plane on the Hudson River, but you will face your own high-pressure moments, crucial presentations, difficult conversations, emergency situations, life transitions, and unexpected challenges. Your ability to perform your best when stakes are highest will largely determine the trajectory of your life. Stress mastery isn't about eliminating pressure from your life. It's about developing the capacity to thrive under pressure. When you master stress, you don't just survive difficult situations. You use them as opportunities to demonstrate your capabilities, grow your resilience, and achieve your highest potential. The pressure you feel isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something important is happening. Learn to dance with that pressure, and you'll discover that your greatest achievements often come not in spite of stress, but because of how skillfully you handle it. Chapter 9. Future Focus Planning, Building Tomorrow Today. When Elon Musk was asked why he started SpaceX despite having no experience in aerospace and facing seemingly impossible odds against established competitors, his answer revealed a profound truth about resilient thinking. I thought the probability of success was very low, but the importance of the mission was so high that it was worth attempting anyway. This perspective, simultaneously realistic about challenges while committed to meaningful action, exemplifies future focus planning. Rather than being paralyzed by uncertainty or overwhelmed by the magnitude of his goals, Musk created systematic approaches to building toward an ambitious future while remaining adaptable to changing circumstances. Future focus planning isn't about predicting the future perfectly. It's about building capabilities, creating options, and positioning yourself to thrive regardless of which specific future unfolds. It's the difference between hoping things work out and actively creating conditions that increase the likelihood of positive outcomes. In our rapidly changing world, the ability to plan effectively for an uncertain future has become a crucial resilient skill. Those who can balance long-term vision with short-term adaptability consistently outperform those who either focus only on immediate concerns or create rigid plans that can't adapt to changing circumstances. The paradox of future planning. Traditional planning assumes you can predict and control future events with reasonable accuracy. But we live in what military strategists call a VUCA world, one characterized by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. In such an environment, detailed long-term plans often become obsolete before they can be implemented. Yet planning remains essential. The paradox is resolved by understanding that the value of planning lies not primarily in the plans themselves, but in the thinking process, capability building, and option creation that planning enables. As Dwight Eisenhower observed, plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Future-focused planning recognizes several key principles. Capabilities over predictions instead of trying to predict specific future events. Focus on building capabilities that will serve you regardless of which future unfolds. A diverse skill set, strong relationships, financial reserves, and adaptive capacity provide security in any scenario. Options over commitments create multiple pathways to your goals rather than betting everything on a single approach. Having options provides flexibility and reduces the risk of total failure if one path becomes blocked. Anti-fragility over stability builds systems and capabilities that don't just withstand uncertainty, but actually benefit from it. Anti-fragile systems grow stronger under stress and use volatility as fuel for growth. Preparation over prediction focus on preparing for categories of challenges rather than specific events. Build general resilience capabilities that transfer across different types of difficulties. The Horizon Scanning Framework. Effective future planning requires regularly scanning your environment for trends, changes, and emerging opportunities or threats. Personal horizon scanning regularly assess changes that might affect your personal life, health trends and medical advances, family life cycle changes and needs, learning and skill development opportunities, relationship evolution and social changes, geographic and lifestyle considerations. Professional horizon scanning monitor developments in your career and industry, technological disruptions and innovations, industry consolidation and market changes, skill requirements and job market evolution, regulatory and policy changes, global economic trends affecting your field. Societal horizon scanning consider broader societal trends that might impact your future, demographic shifts and generational changes, environmental and climate considerations, political and social movements, cultural values evolution, global connectivity and communication changes. Wildcard considerations acknowledge low probability, high-impact events that could dramatically change your circumstances, natural disasters and climate events, economic disruptions and market crashes, technological breakthroughs and disruptions, political upheavals and social changes, personal health crises or family emergencies. Scenario planning for personal resilience. Scenario planning involves imagining multiple possible futures and considering how you might respond to each. This technique, originally developed by military strategists and later adopted by businesses, can be powerfully applied to personal resilience planning. The 4 scenarios framework for any important area of your life. Consider 4 basic scenarios. Best case, everything goes better than expected. Expected case, things proceed roughly as you anticipate. Challenging case, significant obstacles arise but remain manageable. Crisis case, major disruptions require fundamental changes in approach. For each scenario, consider, what would this look like specifically? How would you respond and adapt? What capabilities will be most valuable? What preparations would help you handle this scenario? What opportunities might emerge even in challenging scenarios? Career scenario example best case. Rapid promotion and industry growth create exceptional opportunities. Expected case. Steady progression and moderate industry evolution. Challenging case. Economic downturn creates increased competition and fewer opportunities. Crisis case. Industry disruption makes current skills obsolete. For each scenario, you might prepare by developing diverse skills that transfer across industries, building professional networks both within and outside your field, creating multiple income streams, maintaining financial reserves, staying informed about industry trends and alternatives, building adaptive capacity. The most important aspect of future-focused planning is building your capacity to adapt to whatever future actually unfolds. Cognitive flexibility develop your ability to think in new ways and consider multiple perspectives. Regularly challenge your assumptions about how things work. Seek out diverse viewpoints and experiences. Practice mental exercises that require flexible thinking. Learn about different cultures, industries, and ways of life. Engage with people who think differently than you do. Skill portfolio development. Build a diverse portfolio of capabilities that can be combined in different ways. Core skills that are fundamental to your field. Adjacent skills that complement your core competencies. Transfer skills that apply across different contexts. Emerging skills that position you for future opportunities. Human skills that can't be easily automated. Resource flexibility. Create diverse resources that can be deployed in different ways. Financial reserves that provide security and options. Social networks across different industries and communities. Knowledge resources through reading, courses, and experiences. Physical resources and tools that support various activities. Intellectual property and creative assets. Identity flexibility. Avoid defining yourself too narrowly in ways that might limit future adaptation. Maintain core values while being flexible about methods. See yourself as someone who can learn and grow rather than someone with fixed capabilities. Build confidence in your ability to adapt rather than confidence in specific outcomes. Cultivate multiple sources of meaning and identity. Practice letting go of outdated roles and identities when necessary. Strategic goal setting for uncertain futures. Traditional goal setting often assumes linear progress in stable conditions. Future-focused goal setting acknowledges uncertainty while maintaining direction and momentum. North Star goals establish overarching directions that remain relevant regardless of changing circumstances. Values-based goals that reflect what matters most to you. Impact-oriented goals focused on contribution rather than specific achievements. Growth goals that emphasize development rather than fixed outcomes. Relationship goals that prioritize connection and mutual support. Health and wellness goals that support long-term thriving. Adaptive mile markers create intermediate goals that can be adjusted as circumstances change. Quarterly objectives that can be revised based on new information. Skill development targets that remain relevant across different scenarios. Experience goals that build capability regardless of specific outcomes. Network expansion goals that create opportunities and support. Learning goals that increase your adaptive capacity. Experimental approaches use experimentation to test assumptions and explore possibilities. Small-scale tests before making major commitments. Pilot projects that provide learning with limited risk. Prototype approaches that can be refined and scaled. Time-limited experiments with clear evaluation criteria. Reversible decisions that can be changed if circumstances shift. Financial resilience planning. Money provides options, and options provide security in uncertain times. Financial resilience planning focuses on building financial capacity to handle various futures. Emergency reserves build financial buffers for unexpected challenges. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in easily accessible accounts. Additional reserves for major life transitions or opportunities. Separate funds for specific risks, health, property, professional. Regular contributions to build reserves gradually over time. Income diversification reduces dependence on any single income source. Multiple income streams that aren't correlated. Passive income sources that don't require active time investment. Skills and capabilities that can generate income in different ways. Professional networks that provide access to various opportunities. Side projects that could become full-time pursuits if needed. Investment strategy for uncertainty, build wealth while protecting against various economic scenarios. Diversification across asset classes, geographies, and time horizons. Some investments that benefit from economic growth. Some investments that protect against inflation or economic decline. Regular investment regardless of market conditions. Long-term perspective that can weather short-term volatility. Financial education and literacy develop the knowledge to make informed financial decisions. Understanding of basic investment principles and risks. Knowledge of tax strategies and financial planning. Awareness of economic trends and their implications. Skills in budgeting, cash flow management, and financial analysis. Access to qualified financial advisors when needed. Health and wellness future planning. Your health is your foundation for everything else. Planning for health resilience involves building and maintaining physical and mental wellness. Preventive health strategies invest in health maintenance to prevent future problems. Regular medical checkups and preventive screenings. Dental and vision care to maintain function. Mental health support through therapy, counseling, or coaching. Fitness routines that can be sustained throughout life. Stress management practices that prevent burnout. Health span extension focus not just on living longer, but on maintaining quality of life. Strength training to preserve muscle mass and bone density. Cardiovascular exercise to maintain heart and lung function. Flexibility and balance work to prevent falls and maintain mobility. Cognitive challenges to maintain brain health. Social connection to support mental and emotional wellness. Health crisis preparation prepare for potential health challenges. Health insurance that provides adequate coverage. Health savings accounts for out-of-pocket expenses. Advanced directives and healthcare proxy designations. Relationships with trusted healthcare providers. Knowledge of family health history and genetic risks. Your resilient journey starts now. You now possess the blueprint for extraordinary resilience. But knowledge without action is powerless. Your transformation begins the moment you implement these strategies. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Choose one technique from this book and practice it for the next 7 days. Whether it's reframing your mindset, building your support network, or establishing a daily resilience practice, take that first step now. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. The world needs your resilience, your strength, and your example. Stop reading. Start doing. Your resilient future awaits. Claim it. Begin today. Transform tomorrow. Inspire others. We encourage you to like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed the video. Please share your thoughts in the comments section and explore our channel for a diverse range of content, including audiobooks, murder mysteries, psychological thrillers, and classic novels. We strive to provide comprehensive and engaging storytelling experiences. Your visit is highly appreciated, and we are confident you will find content to your liking.